We are back. Hello and welcome
What
to
do you
the
mean we're
Computer
back?
Game Show.
We've not been
Go
anywhere.
away.
Yeah, we haven't podcast for a week. You know what I mean?
That's normal.
People are sitting there, and also for the people that binge the show, like when they start listening in 3 years' time and they're listening back, they're like, "Whoa, God,
But that's
no,
just
the
the
end of that one,
planned,
straight into we are back."
planned
It's like-
interval between episodes. Do you come into work every morning, kick the door in, and go, "I'm back, baby"?
Yep.
Yeah, all right,
But
fair
you
I
enough.
have
don't,
said that.
Sean.
I've said
It does
that.
sound pretty cool, actually. Now that I think about it.
My name is David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Hello.
Matt Murray,
Hello and welcome.
and James Farley.
Hello.
We're gonna start the show by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey. Matt's adjusted his mic because he wants to say something. He's got a gag in his brain.
Uh-oh.
He's waiting for me to finish this. Colin
Worrying
Smith.
up.
Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe As Records, Sam Higton, Jonathan Edwards, Happy Birthday James S. from Thomas, Fred Fenge, and Thomas. They all went full Nels, and you can do too. It really, really helps us out, and it's great to see you supporting the show. You can go to patreon.com/TCGS and pick one of the tiers there. If you want to listen to bonus shows, there's a tier for you. If you want to watch some video content, there's a tier for you. You want to go full Nels, there's a tier for you. Patreon.com/TCGS. It's a week and a half once this goes out until TCGS Con North. It's happening. This is the last chance. Get on board. Go to tcgs.co/TCGSCon and you can join us for Laser Quest, Mini Golf, live in the Cuisining. It's really creeps up on us, and I don't know how to feel about that. Sunderland Laser Quest is hosting us. So give a shout out to Sunderland Laser Quest Plays. And for those of you coming, I cannot wait to retain the title of Laser Quest champion. It's going to happen.
See about that.
I'm
Yeah, it's
not.
gonna happen.
I don't think you should be bigging yourself up at this point, David. I think.
I mean,
wait.
I'm quite scared
When-
See how you perform
because
on the day.
I'm in even worse condition now than I was last year. And it's like,
Go on.
and last year
Too
it
much
didn't go well.
cheese.
Far too much cheese. I'm out of control. And
What
it's,
happened to the
it's
lot?
terrible.
Did you crack the code?
Yeah, did you break the lock?
Ages ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fucking
It was
Saint
Claus
1111.
No, it's not good. It's really not good.
Matt, what have you pasted in this?
I keep forgetting to mention this, and I'm mentioning it today. As someone who's obsessed with Fantasy Premier League, the season obviously ended 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I kept forgetting to mention who the winner was.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to announce, that the winner of the TCGS Fantasy Football League from last season is Chris Bush, the manager of Bush FC. I think Chris, you actually won last season as well, maybe even season 4. So you did
Bush
have a very good 2,627 points, only 28 points ahead of Team Slady, John Slade in second.
Hey,
and,
Slady, big up.
And one of my close friends from home, Simon, was third. But I was 12.
Can I ask you something? How many teams are in our league?
You should
Is
have
it
asked that
12?
before.
Is it 12?
No,
Because I
mate.
can see you're 12.
Fucking
And
right.
in the screen
Yeah,
grab we got
I-
here, you're bottom of that league.
Yeah, well, because that was the only. No, there are loads. There are. Let me find out, but there are loads. So yeah,
Okay, right,
well
12.
done, Chris. Well done, Chris.
Thanks for that. Now let's get onto the feedback. But before we get onto the listener feedback,
Hang on.
James.
There's 132 teams.
Wow, really?
Blimey.
Yeah.
I didn't even
I mean,
know we had
would
that
it
many
be?
listeners.
Oh my God! Actually, I wasn't going to name who was bottom because I think that's a bit out of order.
Here we go.
But so 132 teams. I'm sorry, but Kirk Keynes, you were bottom of the league.
Why did
Do you want to know?
No,
Do you want to know who
go on.
second bottom was?
Go on.
Sean Bell
Yes.
with Football Squad FC was not last. So Sean, you set your team up before the season started and left
Yeah.
it all season, right?
Yes.
That has got to hurt,
Best
Kurt.
way to do it.
Kurt is livid.
It's going to be livid.
Kurt, every
Stop
week on
making
Fantasy
something
Football
every
Scout, every FPL podcast, every week tinkering. Sean's like, ah, fuck. Yeah. So sorry,
Can
Kurt. Well
can
done,
you
Sean.
see his team if you click on his name?
Who? Sean's?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I got it
Who
here.
did he have up front?
They had Firmino and Jesus. Yeah, well
Well, you
done.
got it, haven't you?
All right. Okay.
Who's in
Yeah.
goal?
Right.
Who's in goal?
Edison. So Man City, well done. Yeah. Coutinho in midfield.
All right. Okay. Well, it's not a terrible team. Anyway,
Anyway,
James,
no,
we
no, I'm
want
doing that
feedback
one,
on last week's show, please.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week, and yeah, it was all right.
yeah, great
And
show.
um,
It's all right.
All
We
right.
It
just
was-
about managed.
It was
James.
definitely no. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed listening back to all the stuff that happened at not E3 because I didn't see hardly any of that, so
Of course,
it was pretty good.
Right.
I've got some weird feelings about that Star Wars Outlaws thing because I watched
Have
that
you?
today for like the first time.
You watched a 10-minute gameplay?
Yeah,
thing?
I watched, and it's like I mean, I'm not saying it looks bad or anything because it doesn't, but in the back of my mind, I keep just thinking these are the people that made the Division, and like I just
Division's
Yeah.
all right.
I
It's
think
not,
it
though,
looked like
is
a
it?
completely different type of game, though, right? It did look very different to that. It looked way more story focused. Than
It
the
did,
Division.
but then it also had all that stuff like like different firing modes and all that kind of stuff, which just reminded me of Division quite a lot.
Yeah.
And
right.
I know I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. I'm just saying it just reminded me of the Division, and it. Yeah, I'm less keen on that idea.
Yeah,
It's
well,
been-
I didn't
it's
think about
fine
that. I didn't
to-
think about
Go on,
game having
sorry.
alternative fire. So you're right. I
Yeah.
might. Yeah, I think it's rubbish too. Actually, yeah. What's the fucking
No,
James?
it's-
That's not the only game of alternative fire, for Christ's sake.
No, you're talking bullshit, Matt. I mean, how much of
No,
the
the
Division
other
have
games
you...
have alternative fire.
No, that's not. Yeah, but not in the way that the Division did. How much did you play the Division, Matt? How much do you understand about the mechanics of how the Division
I
works?
played a fair bit of the first one.
You didn't
but
play
none
the
second
Division,
one.
Matt. So you have no idea
What?
how it
What?
feels to like play
Explain
the
to me
game.
how different it is. It does alternative fire. Go on.
It's not an alternative fire. It's
Well, you just
different
said that.
fire modes.
You just-
You're just talking nonsense. Listen,
Go on.
it's
right. It's not alternative to fire. It's alternative fire modes. Okay. Go on,
no, because what it is it's like you add like sort of overheat and stuff like that to weapons and stuff like that. It's all like upgrading all that kind of stuff. But it's let's get off
Anyway,
this.
no. So, but
I don't know.
but-
But
James,
arguably, that
James.
stuff makes more sense in Star Wars than it ever did in the Division.
That's
James,
true.
You didn't really defend your point.
No,
of view well
because
there.
I hadn't really thought it through very much. It's just that the main thing was
That's a win for Matt.
It's
the one win, baby.
I'm gonna let Matt have a win for that, but it's
You
it's
let
him,
me.
are you?
Yeah.
I don't think you let him.
Conceded.
Alternative fire mode.
no, I'm conceding at this point. Although I will say it does remind me of the Division, and that's not a good thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was excellent from that overview. But I mean, and it says open world, and there's loads of
of
alternative
course you thought it was
objectives.
excellent. Go on.
What? Wait, it looked class. What's wrong with you? Apart from sorry, alternative fire modes. It looks great.
It was funny because I've been playing Jedi Survivor
Yeah.
again, and I was playing that and just going, why are they releasing a game that reminds me so much of this? But then I thought actually, there's so much you can improve on over Jedi Survivor that
I just
at
don't think
least
this will.
let someone have a crack of it. What'd you say?
I just don't think this will. And the reason I
Wow,
don't think
I mean,
it will is
Very
because
early days.
I mean, also they're completely different kind of games.
£100,
I
James.
think. But also the other reason is that I trust Respawn significantly more to make something which feels nice to play than I do the
Right.
people that made the Division. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What's Jedi Survivor's Metacritic score? I might be about to do something stupid, boys.
Do you want to do a bet, Matt? Because I'd be
Right,
be willing to do that actually.
Jedi Survivor got Metacritic of 85. That does
Okay,
actually sound
I
quite
will
good.
bet you that Outlaws does not hit as high as an 85.
Okay. Well, it's got to be a forfeit. It's got to be a forfeit. We're not doing any of
Hang
this.
on, no, because
app
85 is
rating.
quite high, so there's a good chance it doesn't.
You're
Matt,
backpedaling
you
now,
can't
Matt.
You're backpedaling now.
Okay, right, okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, let's fucking do it. I think
Okay,
Outlaws
so
will
what are we
be
betting? What's the stakes here?
£1,000.
No, no, not money. Not money. It's got to be. It's got to be a
2,000.
forfeit. It's got to be like. Maybe we'll think about it for next week. Should we have a little think about it?
Whoever loses,
Go on.
Oh no.
no, I was gonna say jerk it on Twitch. That's not gonna work.
No, it's not.
I did that last week, Matt. I'm not doing it again.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, that's why we've been banned. Okay.
1%
Yeah.
plenty.
Well. Okay. I want to take this bet because I think it'd be funny. But we'll think of a good.
Okay, we'll think of a forfeit. If you've got
Yeah.
any ideas, then please go
Yeah,
to
let us know.
what is it? tcgs.co/dear TCGS.
That's the
if
one.
you've got any ideas for what you.
I've had an
what you
idea
want the
what
forfeit
I
to
want
be.
Matt to do as a
Go on.
forfeit.
Cool. What a
What?
what a blinding start to the.
What's the idea, James?
I think that Matt would have to do a Division streaming series where he just has to like play it every week.
What until you like max levels?
Yeah, until he like max levels on the Division.
Oh, that's good.
Fuck
That's
that.
good.
Well, that
Matt.
could take
That's
like
good.
months.
Yeah, but you're going to win, so it doesn't matter. So now you've got.
Good
to...
point.
Inspired by Phil Wall, by the way, from the stream. But,
So what was
So
it?
it wasn't. So when you said you got a
Inspired
great
by it,
idea,
stolen
Yeah, when you
by.
said your idea.
stolen from, yeah.
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough.
from.
not been a good start for old James Farley.
Phil, well,
Okay.
your cut of James's cut of the Patreon is on its way, mate. Don't worry.
But anyway,
Okay.
aside from Star Wars Outlaws, I mean, the other thing I wanted to talk about is Jeff Keighley, because
Always.
I found that conversation absolutely fascinating. It's like, because
Go on.
I mean,
Now, James, you're not the only one that said this to me since the last pod. There's been a few comments. Should we go on?
I mean, Matt, the main focus of your argument was at least he's doing something. That was that was the thing, but why? That's not an argument for like why something should exist. That it's just like, well, he's doing something, and it's like, I mean, I don't understand. Can you please explain why this is a good thing?
I mean, I haven't got much more than that, I'll be honest with you. I'm just happy that there is an event that we can watch all this stuff on. Yeah,
Why?
obviously I'd like it to be better. Well,
think the
because
thing
I
is-
enjoy this shit, that's why.
But it's
When
not
you hear
good.
Something say at least they're
Well, no,
doing
it's
something.
I mean, it can be a lot better, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we said that last week. But, you know, hey, we're getting to see trailers, it's an event, it could be better, hell yeah, but it's something.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be Jeff Keighley doing this, does it? Like, why does this have to be Summer Games Fest? Like, why? It's
Like
basically
Summer Game Fest.
It's basically an ego trip with adverts. It's like, I don't know why you'd want to like support
But, yeah,
that.
you know, all this stuff has to be paid for, and it's paid for often by advertising. If it's not him, it'd be someone else using an advert to
Yeah,
pay
but
for
E3,
stuff.
E3 did that for years, right? Without having this one dude that come out and said, "Here's the E3 show," and it was all about him, and and then halfway through adverts for games, they went, "Hey, what about this service that you can download to your phone?" Like they
See,
did that without
here's
that, and I know
DoorDash.
they failed. I know they failed.
There's a reason it's
I
not
know
going
they're
anymore.
gone.
Well, it wasn't
But
relevant.
that's not that doesn't have to be the alternative, does it? Like, when you said at least he's doing something, that's what people say about people that do stuff for charity but really fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, well, at least he's doing something. You
At
know,
least
he's
they're
at
raising
least
money
he's
for charity.
trying. You know what I mean? Or protesting. Well, he's not. He's doing it for himself, isn't he?
He's
Jeff Keighley?
absolutely-
Yeah, of course, it's a
100% doing it
business.
for
Yeah, he's not
himself.
stupid. Yeah.
I mean,
What do you mean? He's a business.
No, he's making it's a business into it's also about making money as well. He's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart.
yeah, but exactly.
Right.
But then it's shit, though, isn't it? Like, why?
Well, so James, you're saying there should be something, but there's no
I'm
element
saying-
of a commercial kind of.
No,
you know,
no, I'm
requirement. It's just
saying-
like,
The
you
whole
gotta go
thing's
to
a
that.
No,
fucking
shut
commercial
up.
thing, Matt.
I'm saying,
I know that, but James, it doesn't have to be about that. Or it fucking
no.
does.
I'm saying that Summer Games Fest does not have to
It's
exist.
Summer Game Fest, James. Get it right.
Whatever.
Game Fest.
I'm saying it doesn't have to exist. There is no reason for it to exist whatsoever, apart from to sort of push his ego.
There
Like,
wasn't much there that couldn't have found
all of those
a
things.
place elsewhere. I know,
Exactly.
like, yeah.
They could have been in other showcases for other companies, or I mean, the only thing that was good there was Day of the Devs. Like that makes complete sense why that exists.
And I'm pretty
But-
sure Day of the Devs existed before, or possibly not. I can't remember. But,
Yeah, yeah,
could
it absolutely
certainly exist
did,
on
yeah.
its own. If it,
Summer
Game
Games
Fest.
Fest doesn't have to exist. It's
Right,
completely.
he's,
well,
right.
that's
Stop
Summer Game
nicking
Fest.
things from the chat, James.
Yeah, that's a third thing, James. Should we just get the chat on this show or what?
Yeah, why not?
Right, listen.
Fucking hell, chat.
Let's all calm down. My
You fucking
view
calm
on-
down.
My view on this stuff, right, is that if the three big hitters and the publishers got together and said, let's do Games Fest, and it is 1 week where we all announce our stuff. Right?
Game Fest.
So, no, I mean, this is what they want to call it themselves, right?
you make a new
This
one.
is this is
It's
separate.
an original
Yeah,
creation.
this is going to have the S on. But
If they did this, and Jeff Keighley wasn't involved, like how that wouldn't be any different, right?
He'd kick off if that
It'd be
happened.
better.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
why
probably would better.
why? I mean, I guess it's our own fault. We sat and fucking watched his 2-hour show. You know what I mean? which was him popping up every and going, "Oh, we got some great wild stuff. Keep watching it." And you know, I don't
Okay,
know.
So
right,
he's never going to get the good stuff either, like the really good stuff.
He had a fucking Elden Ring trailer, James, last year.
Last year.
What do we have this year?
Yeah, but we've said we're like, you know, he's only at the best of the development cycle. We can't match a game out of his ass.
No, but that's the whole point.
He's
Like,
the best to the video game.
But if he really had,
but he is,
if he
though.
had enough clout to warrant doing his own show, could he not have gone to Microsoft and been like, right, you give me Fable?
No, because they're desperate, Sean. They're on their ass as well. Microsoft need a hit.
Microsoft got loads of hits. Microsoft
It
are fun.
does. Yeah, no, okay, but yeah. So, would life be any different if he wasn't doing it? No,
Yes.
of course not.
it'd be
But
much more
I
enjoyable.
don't. It's just so easy to slag off Jeff Keighley. I'm like, he seems like a perfectly fine, person. Yes, it could be better.
one's
We all
saying
want it
he's
to be
an
better.
arsehole.
Yeah, no one's saying he's a bad person.
It's just so easy for everyone to hate on him. It's
Like,
like,
you
oh,
know,
God,
if
predictable.
anyone-
I can roll
We're
my
hating
back,
on
my
his
fucking
product.
head.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I'm saying I don't know why it exists. Like, what is the point apart from to bolster his ego? I don't know why it's there. And
The way
sell
it exists
some
is,
products.
is trying to like jump in the space that E3 had and like then own the space. That's what he's trying to do.
But it's not
Yeah,
jumping
that's
into
the
the
owning
space
the
that
space.
E3
You
had.
don't own that space.
Yeah.
You don't own that space.
But he's trying to own the space. That's what he's
Right, okay,
clearly
but
trying to do.
here's the problem. This stuff, this marketing stuff, that's owned by the games developers. It's the people that are pushing games and trying to get their games out there, and noticed and get fans excited. It doesn't belong to Jeff Keighley, and I think that's why I sit back and just
It doesn't
go,
belong,
"Hold
but
on,
then
mate."
it doesn't belong. I get that, but like they're like, well, we get a lot of eyeballs on this, and so I guess that's why they're only part of it as well.
I'm none the wiser as to why you defend him so much.
get a lot of eyeballs on those adverts, isn't it? Is the thing. It doesn't make any sense.
That does make sense. Actually,
yeah, that's how advertising works,
On an
James.
advert. I mean, what do you mean? No, you can't just shake your head and go silent.
What?
You can't.
No, I'm
That
saying
does-
the whole thing as a concept doesn't make any sense at all,
do you
apart
mean?
from the fact that it's to sell adverts and to make him look good. That's it.
That's the bit that I don't like. The fact that, as Matt says, he's trying to own the space, and there's part of me
Massively.
as a video game fan that's saying, makes you think that you deserve to own that space. That's the bit that gets my back up, and maybe that's me being a bit gatekeepery, and that's like maybe I'm the problem.
I think he's
get
the
that. I
gatekeeper.
understand that as a bit weird. So I beg your pardon, James.
I said I think he's the gatekeeper.
Oh,
It's like
That's
he'd like to be. He'd like to be the gatekeeper.
he wants to be the fucking nexus
Yeah,
of information, doesn't he? But he's
So
just
cutting.
not.
absolutely he does.
I think that's the issue is that if he was genuinely pulling together an event that every year we were like, holy shit, this is the one to watch because there will be big stuff on it. He has not kept that momentum up, and he's not seized the opportunity with E3 being off again this year.
See, the thing is like the Game Awards. I can understand why they exist and all that
Right.
kind of thing. That makes sense, because that is fulfilling a function. I think.
What about
yeah,
all the
I do. I
advertising
think
though?
so too.
What
Yeah, but the advertising pisses me off.
Yeah,
in
that's
that
also
as well,
crap as well. That's no good. But actually, as a concept though, having the Game Awards not a terrible idea. To do that. But Summer Game Fest, totally. I don't understand the point. It's weird.
All right.
No,
So, Matt,
there's no
you
point.
got something
Let's
else?
move on. Nah, let's move on.
Okay.
Move on.
Let's get
What's
some
the point?
feedback.
What's the
Matt.
fucking point? It's 7-0 England.
Next week's
but-
guest. If you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. We're not. It'll be all right because James isn't here. Don't worry about it.
I'm here next week.
Are you? Who's
Yeah.
off next week?
Not me.
It's me. It's me.
Oh, right. Okay. Matt's not here. It's
I'll have
fine.
a week off
It's
if you
fine.
want. Actually, what are we doing? What are we doing the week after? Are we recording on the Monday after we've done TCGS Con?
Oh
We
god.
haven't thought that through, have we?
No, we haven't.
We
Because
have-
last time,
really
last
haven't.
time we got a live show out of it, and we just put that out. Whereas this time, it's just going to be my shitty quiz. So
Let's
that's not
just do it. Let's record on a Monday.
Didn't think about this. This is
Right.
off-air chat.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Right, we're going to start with Virtual Boy. You guys worry too much about whether the show is good each week or not. It's good every week. Don't worry about it. I will say, though, here we go, that my favourite shows are the ones... I will say that you're shit. No, I will say, though, that my favourite shows are the ones where you discuss a variety of games, old and new, AAA and indie. Maybe it's just my personal preference, but when you squeeze in a discussion about a niche DS game from 2005 or a point-and-click adventure from 1998, that's when my ears perk up. Anyway, good show. I'm sorry I won't be able to make it to TCGS Con North. Not sure I can justify the flight across the Atlantic. to my wife to play laser tag.
That's a shame, Virtual Boy, because we were going to specifically talk about old and new games, AAA and indie, the whole time we were there. So you're
Yeah,
missing out on
and
some of the
love
best
There's going to be
content.
like a whole retro section, everything.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
45
yeah,
minutes on niche DS games from 2005. So that is a real blow.
That is a shame. But okay, that's glad to hear you liking that. The problem, it's
the
funny,
thing
isn't it?
Go on.
Go on, because most of this year we've sort of been playing old stuff, right? And talking about games that come out maybe a year or two ago, or going back to some old stuff. And because it's been so bad, so I remember just before Zelda come out, we were all itching to all play a game together, and talk about it and go to. But by this point, I'm sick of fucking Zelda. I'm gonna be talking about it later. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. But it's done now, isn't it?
Sick of it.
It's done. So go on.
Okay, I'm
What
excited
were you
to
gonna
hear
say,
you
Sean?
sick of it.
I was just going to say,
Same thing.
people say, why, you shouldn't worry about it. The show's good every week. What if the show's good because we worry about it every week?
That's true.
That is-
that
If
low
we come in
level
with confidence.
anxiety is what keeps us,
Yeah.
top of our game.
I'm almost certain it's that, Sean. It's the worry. It's the I do have anxiety dreams where we're doing a show or something, and then I just go, I think we've said everything. I don't know what to say anymore.
Everything to say about
I think
games.
we've completed podcasting.
All right, let's go.
Samuel Smith has messaged, as a lifelong Street Fighter player, I've listened to the modern and classic controls discussion over the past 2 weeks. Modern controls have helped my daughter understand my excitement with Street Fighter, enabling her to perform moves and combos with little difficulty. The biggest trade-off is that modern controls do less damage and you have fewer buttons assigned to attacks to perform combos and fewer options overall. I have played online and can beat modern controls because some of the 30 years playing this franchise. However, the advantage my opponent will never miss, a special attack or combo, has made the battles enjoyable. Ever since Dragon Ball Fighters, or Fighter Z, Fighter Z, I don't know, introduced auto combos, I have seen the value of simplified controls as it makes my favourite genre accessible. A skilled player will always win against modern/accessible controls when I do not, and I know that is on me. David's comment on an aerial button in Rocket League could work. Just give it a cooldown so it won't be abused. I would like to see some accessible control options. I'd like to see more accessible control options in more games. Driving games have them, fighting games have them, and I would like to see them added to FPS. Auto lock-on with reduced damage, for example. The original Doom, Heretic, etc. had this, and I struggle with the current true 3D shooters. It's a skill issue for me, though if we are looking to bring in more players, then accessibility is the way forward. We can all be precious about our favourite games and how they are nuanced and skilled, etc. But accessibility options can bring people in to learn how the game works and removes a barrier of X amount of years of muscle memory. From Samuel Smith.
Amen.
I
agree
I
with that.
totally see that argument. That was really well made as well. I think I mean I'm playing devil's advocate when I'm talking about that stuff, right? Because I'm not a Street Fighter player. I think what surprised me so much was that growing up, I guess growing up, it was all about learning the button combinations. And then when I booted this Street Fighter up, and it wasn't that, and not only was it not that, it was also not that by default. I was like, "Whoa, this is wild!" Right?
Yeah, like it's not
Because
even
you-
presented as like, well, if you want easy mode, you can enable this.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how you start the game.
Like FIFA's a really good example of that. You load up FIFA, you can play FIFA with the 2-button controls, and Harry did for a long time. He doesn't anymore, but he did for a long time play 2-button controls on FIFA, which was a pass button and a shoot button, and it works out what's the best type of shooting in a certain area, what's the best type of pass you want to do at that point, and it does it for you based on one button prompt, right? That totally makes sense. You don't have to do the running, you don't have to do the tight controls, it does it all for you. But that's an option you have to go in and turn on. Same with Mario Kart. You can set it so that you don't fall off, but you have to go into the settings and turn that on. And I'm not saying this is comparable to that, because I don't think it is, but it does make the game significantly easier. And I do wonder if there are fans of Street Fighter that worry that so many people prefer this over the normal way of playing Street Fighter, that might then become the norm. And I'd understand that
Well, it's
argument as
interesting,
well,
isn't
I
it?
think.
Because I don't know how, like, so your special move inputs, so quarter circle, punch, whatever for a fireball. I don't know how they came about. Right, like was that purely a design decision, or was it? Well, we're making this for an arcade cabinet that's only got 6 buttons.
Right.
If we want to have more variation, do it like maybe I don't know.
No,
well,
I would suggest that was totally a design. I would
Yeah.
have thought that, right?
It was. I mean, because the original Street Fighter had them as well, but they were really, really difficult to pull off. Like super, super difficult. And I think it was the idea of like these moves are like something. They take off like a serious amount of damage, but it will require a lot of skill to pull them off. And so it is a design choice. I think.
I
as
thought it was
David
like a
said.
hidden thing, like you've got the hidden code or whatever.
Yeah, so Jack 5 on 5 in the chat is saying so it was all designed, but combos were a glitch, weren't they? That's right. That was it. But then that sort of got built into the games over time.
I'm sure I played the original Street Fighter. Wasn't it like absolutely shockingly bad?
Yes.
No, it's not. Well, it's not. I mean, obviously by modern standards, it is awful. Like if you go back and try and play it now, I'd say it's borderline unplayable. But it did set the foundation for a lot of things that then were taken on in Street Fighter 2.
Sure. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at screenshots of Street Fighter 1.
Yeah.
I remember that. I think I had it on Atari STE, believe it or not. Good days. Right, okay, next.
Yeah, Tiny Tim. Dear sirs, as a 13-year-old footballer, I'm also into skateboarding, like Mr. Murray. Which is why I heard that my favourite of the 4 of you didn't mention the Riders Republic update. I was so certain that Mr. Murray would be all over the addition of skateboarding mechanics to the game, so much that I even told a few of my skateboarding mates to tune in before last week's podcast. Neither one of the two will now answer my messages. Thanks a lot, Mr. Murray. Sad face.
Do you know what I love most about Tiny Tim is I'm pretty sure he has aged in real time.
No, that's what we said last time he was on. I'm pretty sure that's been happening.
That's attention to detail.
Which means someone has got that written down somewhere.
Yeah. Tiny Tim's birthday.
And they refer back to stuff that they mentioned like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to the point where I go, hi, it's me, Tiny Tim, as a 23-year-old footballer? Is it
as a 30-year-old retired footballer? I didn't. Riders Republic's been like
Tim.
12 quid everywhere again recently, hasn't it?
Really?
It's meant to be good. It's meant to be
11 quid
really
too
good.
much.
But it's one of those Ubisoft games that just doesn't shift for some reason.
No. It's not. I do apologise, Tiny Tim, but I wasn't kept abreast with the updates in Riders Republic and never will be.
Didn't care.
Do not
That's
give a
what
shit.
happened.
Right,
Didn't give a shit.
Stu, not that one. David not understanding the pun in Day of the Devs explains why the computer game show is called the computer game show. And there's another email. Adam, hiya, think Day of the Devs is a play on, Day of the Dead, the holiday.
We did
That's
say
where the
that.
name comes from.
We said that on the show.
Yeah, but
Adam.
my point was, why is it called Day of the Devs and not like the Indie Showcase? Because you look at it and go,
Because it's just
Day of
a
the Devs
funny,
is on.
cool
and you go-
name. It doesn't matter.
I
Everyone
disagree.
knows what it is.
They love a
I
pun.
don't think
love
they
a-
do, Sean.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, Sean.
Literally everyone.
Sean's done the work.
Holly Willoughby, she knows what it is. What's another celebrity? That's the only one I can think of.
I was going to say
Philip
something.
Schofield.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was going to say, but
Wasn't going to go there. Wasn't going to go there.
Let's not.
Okay,
Let's not.
Thank you for everyone's feedback. Go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
They just go together really well. It's like salt and pepper.
No, don't.
Chemistry.
Go on.
Like us, really. So, news.
James, that's you.
Thank you so much for that, Matt. You've really brightened up my day. James, it's time for the news.
it is the news. So Embracer has got some problems.
Okay, who Embracer?
You know, oh come on, don't do this again.
No, we shouldn't laugh because this is going to be fucking thousands of job losses probably.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
David.
David.
Fucking hell,
Yeah,
man. I wasn't
David.
laughing. James was
Making a
laughing.
gag.
So
You were the making the gag where he's like, "Who
You were the making the gag.
You were the making the gag.
You were the making the gag.
That's
very
not helped at
serious.
all, James.
Right,
That's
come on, James.
You can't say you were the making the gag and then be serious.
Go on.
Anyway,
That's the episode title.
yeah.
You were the
So
making
anyway, Embracer are apparently going to be closing a whole bunch of studios. They're cancelling games. This was after they had a $2 billion deal that was going to go through that was apparently going to make things okay for a while, but then it fell through and it didn't happen. And so now what's going to happen is they're doing a restructure basically. There's going to be 3 phases of this restructure, and this is going to go on until March 2024. It's not very clear exactly what this restructure is going to entail, apart from the fact that it will involve job losses and also studios being closed. But apparently they owe it's like $930 million dollars, because that's the debt that they have that they need to reduce. And the first thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be immediate and noticeable cost saving. So apparently they've got 17,000 staff, and so some of those people will obviously, they'll be laying them off, and they're going to be closing studios that they're considering to be underperforming or not creating games up to our standard, is what they said. But initially they said that this was only going to impact projects that have not yet been announced, and ones that they believed had low projected returns. But then now there's also been said this is not the case for all of them. So it may be that there are some things that they've already announced that may also get canned over this time. Do you want to hear a quote from this?
Yeah, make me angry, isn't it?
Go on then.
Well, so in terms of getting out of this, they said here, we know we need to be exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion and turn that into one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. And that's obviously something we're going to do. We're going to do. That doesn't make any sense. That we're going to be doing. That's written. Okay, that's whoever's written this. They can't write very well. But don't reveal who's written it.
Slagging off Polygon.com.
There's
Unbelievable.
Wait, no, it says here. Sorry, and that's something we're going to be doing.
No, it says here, and that's obviously something that we're going to be doing.
Be doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's
doing.
Well,
that's a
maybe
much
read
better.
it before the show.
Yeah, I did. It's just I was skimming over it. There's a much better use of resources than some of the other projects that some of our teams have been working on. So then they also said that the previous financial year has been really challenging because of what they called lackluster reception to notable releases and game delays. Although their net sales were up 121%. To roughly 3.5 billion. So yeah.
So they,
Fuck, 3.5 billion revenue. Jesus. Okay.
Weird situation, this, isn't it? Because obviously, as we all know, Embracer have just been going around buying everything. That's how you end up with 17,000 employees. And by the way, obviously, shout out to all these people who now just have to live with the uncertainty of whatever the fuck is going to happen next. Must be a miserable situation. But yeah, like I've seen people smarter than me theorizing that, like, this could be the strategy, right? This isn't like an accident. This isn't them being stupid. This might have been the plan all along. Reasons for that could be that obviously as they've gone around buying all these developers, they've also got the rights to a lot of games.
Yeah.
So do you just go around buying the companies, let all the devs go, and then we just sit around and let the royalties roll in for their existing titles? The other thing I was reading, anyone who knows about finance will probably like absolutely tear me to shreds here, but apparently this is a concept known as a roll-up, where if you essentially buy up a shitload of businesses, you can essentially increase their valuation because you've bought so many that it spreads the risk, right? And then that allows you to borrow more against them and then bin them off and then save a shitload. Like, so you can borrow more money than you should have, then let people go. And it's miserable. It's really, really shitty practice. Not saying that was the plan here, but it's potentially.
Because it feels a bit like, they bought up all these studios to become like a sort of a holding company, like you said, of like all of these IPs and everything that they've got their hands on, and then they don't actually want the studios really. They just want all the intellectual property maybe. But we don't know, obviously, if that's the case.
We don't. But either way, I mean, whether this is intentional or like if this is a genuine mistake, well, guess what, Embracer? Literally, the whole world is looking at you and going, well, yeah. Do you fucking? How did you think this would pan out?
Bought million IPs and didn't do enough with them. Yeah,
just bizarre. And all right, so I think they're talking about the new Saints Row that came out last year, because that was, I'm pretty sure that was a flop by
it was a massive flop, wasn't it?
But I mean, that was never gonna be big enough to turn this around, right?
What happened with Saints Row, Matt? That was like huge at one point. That was huge.
It was
Like
because there was that
Saints Row
period
Saints
where
Row
they
the third.
Yeah, there's that period where they leaned into the joke, and it was good for a bit. And then they went, "Oh, we're going to go back to basics for the next one." And everyone's went, "Why?"
What was the basics? No, because I think they did the third one. Was there Saints Row 4, or did they go to
Yeah, so there was
Agents of
my God.
Mayhem?
Oh yes, there's Agents of Mayhem as well. Christ.
That was
yeah. So there was
dreadful.
was 4 the one with the Matrix, where
I thought, oh yes, you're right. That's where. Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was like, where do you go from here?
yeah.
Yeah. You were the president in fourth. That's right, Phil. Wall.
Yes.
It was. Then Agents of Mayhem come out, and that was a wild game where it was clearly
Mm.
supposed to be an online game. Something
That's
went
right,
wrong.
yeah,
They
yeah.
released it, and it just didn't work. It didn't work at all.
Yep.
Bizarre.
Mm.
Now no one's got any love for that series, which is really weird for considering how popular it was at one point.
That's the weirdest thing, isn't it? Is that when they announced they were doing a new one, the response was just like, what? Like no one was like, fuck yeah, Saints Row's back. Like it was all that goodwill has just sort of been worn away. It's really
So
strange.
it says in this piece about the fact that they own Crystal Dynamics, and Crystal Dynamics are obviously working on Perfect Dark game. And I think in this piece I just read it said, "Oh, Crystal Dynamics are not going to be affected by the restructuring." Surely this is like Microsoft come and buy us. Like if Microsoft are already working with them on the Perfect Dark game, surely this feels like an easy sell. Microsoft own Crystal Dynamics, own Tomb Raider. We'll get the team in that are working on our game.
Well, no,
anyway.
because it's not. I don't think it's not Crystal Dynamics that own Tomb Raider. It's still Embracer that do.
Oh, okay, yeah, they own the IP, but Dynamics are the dev studio. Oh, okay,
They're
well,
making-
still,
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's
Okay.
wild. I mean, as you say, Sean, we've been saying this for years. Like, you keep buying 1,000 IPs and 1,000 studios, nothing seemingly happening. It's a bit sad, really.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
obviously, it's awful for everybody involved as well. Having to go through this. It's not good.
All right.
Shall I move on to the next one?
Go on then.
Okay, so Microsoft Studios are no longer making Xbox One games. So Matt Booty confirmed this the other day that like all the future titles that are coming out, apart from updates to things like Minecraft, are not going to be they're not going to be running on Xbox One, only on Series S and Series X. And he said the only way that if you have one of those consoles you can play those games is that you'll be able to play it via Xbox cloud streaming services instead. So there is a solution there. But then also he did commit.
He only initially said 2 years, right? Do you remember that? When he's supporting Xbox One games
That's right.
for 2 years.
And we're there. So
Yeah, we're over that line.
yeah.
So you're well over it, yeah.
I mean, he
Fair
also
enough, I guess.
he also said that they are very committed to continue developing for the Xbox Series S as well, and it's saying that obviously there is more work for developers to to develop games for it, but they still really want to push it as an option, which I think.
I suppose, I mean, they're bringing a new one out, so it
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I suppose. Obviously, it's never ideal when an older generation gets cut off because there will still be plenty of people using Xbox Ones who can't justify the expense of a new console. However, obviously the cloud solution is new, right?
That's
never-
genuinely an option, right?
Yeah.
That is genuinely an option.
Yeah, like of course
Using
it's
your
not the
Xbox
same,
One
but,
to stream Xbox One X games is not a bad shout.
Yeah, especially if you're because if you've got like Game Pass Ultimate, then you can do that, couldn't you? I guess.
The only problem is that it's still very limited with what you can do outside of Game Pass games, right?
Yes.
So like you can't currently buy the next, say, Assassin's Creed game on it and then stream that through Xbox
they did
cloud
say they
service,
were
right?
working on that, didn't they? That you could.
They did,
because you could play anything that's in your digital library, but
but it never really
word
come
on
about.
I wonder
That. I mean,
what
that
that
must
is.
be a fucking nightmare.
That must be just because third-party developers just don't want them to do that, I guess. Or
Well, I mean, Ubisoft have their own.
That's true. Yeah,
thing.
they've
They've got their own
so,
streaming service and stuff, haven't they? Or their subscription service, at least. So I think, there must be some pushback on that. But yeah, okay.
So hopefully this means that they are actually developing games for the Series X and S. That's what I take from this.
yeah,
They might actually release some games for the Xbox. That sounds good.
So, hang on. So what have we had so far that is only on the S and X? Have we had any, or have they all been? No, we must.
Yeah,
have.
no, we have. I'm
has been a
sure we
couple.
have. I
Off the top of
can't
my head, I
figure it
can't.
off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
they definitely have.
Okay.
Oh shit! What? That's going to do my
okay,
nut.
Redfall was. I'm pretty certain. Yeah, Redfall was only
Oh,
on
cool. Okay.
Series
Well,
S and X.
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Flight
what else
Sim,
do you
people
need?
saying Flight Sim in the chat.
It was Flight Sim on previous gen.
No,
Kidding
no,
me.
They're
these
saying
are
it wasn't.
exclusives.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
That makes more sense.
Right. Okay.
Rather than me just looking, they're fucking idiots. What are they saying that? Oh no, they mean the
Yeah,
opposite.
I
of what
don't
think.
know. Still, Microsoft's still got a lot to do. I mean, as much as I enjoyed some of the stuff on
Say
their
that again.
showcase like last week, that it's not made me go, hey, it's all coming.
Yeah. What do you think about that, James? When you went on last week, I assume did you watch the Xbox show or? Oh,
Yeah, I
you
did
were with
watch
us,
it.
weren't you?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with you for that. Yeah, I mean, I
You were
enjoyed
on
it. I
the
thought
show,
it was very good. I mean, what you said, David, last week about the fact that it's like a lot of this is still quite far out is a thing. You know, there's things, there's not so much coming this year still, but I still thought it was a really good showing. And I mean, especially Fable in particular. I've watched that trailer quite a few times now, and I thought it was brilliant. I mean,
It's
I
so
know.
wild though, but before the thing, you were going, I don't want to see FMV. I
Yeah.
want to see fucking gameplay.
It's
And
true.
you've watched that several times. Why?
Because I enjoyed. I mean, tonally, if this is tonally what the game is going to be like, then I think that's great that they've actually shown that rather than just like a trailer of like a elf like dancing around or whatever.
See, sure, but I think that's so. I mean, it's easier to get a tone right in a very, cinematic trailer that you've pieced together and cut together, and try and replicating that in a video game, long form video game where you're walking through levels is like it's totally different, right?
Remember Dead Island?
I don't know. What's that?
Remember Dead Island?
Great trailer.
Yeah,
One
it
of
is,
those
yeah,
great
Great
trailers.
trailer. All right game.
Terrible
it's been
special
really
edition.
Interesting because I think we all enjoyed the Xbox show, but I've seen loads of people just being like, yeah, it was fucking great. This is it. Xbox is fucking back on the map, baby.
Yeah,
And I was
They're
like,
not
I've seen
back
loads
on
of
the
things like that. Yeah.
I wonder if that's also just because it has been so bad for like a couple of years now that
Yeah,
But this
maybe.
is. there
But
was
and to be
nothing
fair,
there.
like the PlayStation one last month wasn't amazing either. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I think it's just low expectations.
They need to come out. Starfield needs to be incredible. Like, that's the first thing.
Needs to be 10.
Starfield needs to be incredible. It doesn't matter about whether Forza's good or not because we're all expecting it to be excellent anyway. Starfield needs to be a 10, and then hopefully these new games start rolling out next year. Just copy and paste that
You're
to
right
next
though,
year's pod.
Sean, because I've seen loads of not just like people on Twitter or whatever saying, "Oh, that was really good," and I'm excited, but like, actually loads of opinion pieces. I'm sure seeing
Our
like Games
peers.
Into Drop Beers,
I'm gonna call them.
Games Into Drop Beers that Eurogamer saying like this wasn't just a good one. This is this is the start of something new and exciting. I'm like, well, I mean, I thought it was really good. But I wasn't like, holy shit, they're back. Because look at the last 3 years. I feel like we can't trust them that they're going to be back. Because we've had loads of false dawns.
Yeah.
I think it's also because they did a very good job though of controlling the message as well with the whole thing, like with them coming out and saying, oh, it turns out games take a long time, to develop nowadays.
This is going to be shite.
and
It
it's
turns out. I
it's-
love that. Could you imagine if they said, it turns out?
Turns out.
Done some
Oh, you've got
research.
to do everything. You've got to do all the
It turns
graphics.
out.
You've got to do all the
Turns out,
noises.
yeah.
Do you know every game you've played, someone's had to put all the noises in.
World's most
takes
famous
ages.
software developer coming out. It turns out, guys, we've been
Do you
in
know
this
if
game
it's got
for 20
multiplayer,
years.
we have to keep a computer switched on all day for that. I mean,
It's not like Office. There's worlds to
But,
create.
they did that whole thing where it's like, it takes a long time, but everything's falling into place now and all that. And it's like people seem very willing to believe that that's the case.
We've heard that
So,
before.
I think the stuff like people need to get used to the fact that a AAA game dev cycle is like 5 years. When I see that, I just hear like, yeah, this is getting even more unsustainable, guys. It's getting even more risky.
I think the other reason why people were really into this though as well is that they didn't show Halo, Gears, and Forza as being
Yeah.
like the main things.
What
that
did they show
showed.
instead?
They showed Fable. They showed that other new one that was I've forgotten the name of.
The
This is what we're
Clockwork one?
saying. I mean, come on.
That's
like,
it, the Clockwork one. Yeah, the Clockwork thing. And then there was that other one that we all thought was Stubbs the Zombie 2, but wasn't.
This is what I'm
Midnight
talking about.
something.
Yeah, they didn't show Halo, Gears, and Ford. Like they didn't show those ones. What they showed was there was one about a clock. I think there was a clock.
Avowed.
Yeah, did
Yeah, I
That
don't
looks
know, man.
good.
about that look good, yeah.
On a complete tangent, if you allow me to go on a complete tangent.
Oh, yeah, you're allowed. Approved.
Talking
Yeah,
about
understand that.
What is it? Yeah.
turns out. I was watching Fall Guy again. You seen that film? The
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds film where
No,
is
no,
it
but-
Fall
no,
Guy?
sorry.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
Free Guy?
Free Guy.
Free Guy, that's it, Free Guy. I watched that again the second time over the weekend, and I still love how Hollywood, as geeky as that film is, and as full of references from video game development to Twitch streamers to things in games that's in that fucking film, they still had a bit at the end where things are getting destroyed piece by piece by a servers being smashed with an axe, and again he's going, well, this last bit is on this last server, and I'm gonna get it, and you're like, that's not how it works. Sorry, that just crossed my mind.
That's
Then
all right.
I was thinking
Never
of.
apologise.
Free Guy.
We done with this one?
Yeah. Next
Good.
story is that Sony says that it's not releasing its first-party games on PS Plus on day one, and this is working for them. I mean, obviously, it is working for them because they're making
Yeah,
a
of
lot
course
of
it
money,
is, yeah.
out of this. And so it's Nick Maguire, who's the vice president and global head of subscriptions, was talking to GamesIndustry.biz, and he said we're happy
Matt,
with our.
No, you're not coming out with a Harry Maguire joke. I saw his little
no.
face. Did you see his little face?
I had
Did you
that
see his
first.
little
Like,
face?
no, it was not good enough. And then I was going to say, God, he's done fuck all since he started. But because it's moving.
Go on.
He says, we're happy with our strategy. Putting games in a bit later in the life cycle has meant that we can reach more customers, 12, 18, 24 months after they've released. We're seeing customers still get excited about those games and jumping in. For us, that's working. Occasionally, there will be an opportunity
The way
to...
you're reading this sounds like a really bitter teenager. For us, that's working. We're watching people jump in and enjoy them.
Occasionally, there will be an opportunity to invest in a day and date release like Stray, and we will jump on those when they come in. So basically, they're making a whole bunch of cash, and they're quite happy with how it's going. And
I bet they fucking are.
I mean, this builds on you know what Shuhei Yoshida said in 2022, where he said it's like in the movies. A movie comes out at the theatre first, then goes to pay-per-view or a subscription service or free TV, every time generating new revenue and reaching out to a broader audience. In the same kind of way, we believe in the... Oh no, the rest of it's really boring. So anyway,
What is that? What is that analogy? It's nothing like the movies. What is he talking about?
No, he's saying it's like if you go to the cinema, you put down cash to go and see a film at the cinema, right? But then maybe you don't. Some people don't bother to do that, and they wait until it comes on to like a streaming service or something instead. To watch it there rather than paying
the
that
reason it didn't
premium
make
to go and see it
sense.
first.
The reason it didn't make sense, Dave, is because James didn't read the second part of the quote, which kind of elaborates and provides context to that.
All
quote.
comes together at the
Doesn't
end.
make sense. Oh no, it's because you didn't bother to read the next.
And he said, well, actually, the most
boring, Matt.
profitable thing we do is... I can't be bothered to read the rest.
Yeah,
Anyway,
It was
yeah.
boring. It was boring.
Yeah.
You knew it was going.
well,
I'm
no, David
surprised by
didn't.
how well...
David didn't. Yeah,
David didn't
I'm
know where it's going.
I overestimated him. But yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised where it's going because I think we all came into this generation thinking Game Pass is going to be the way forward, right? And I think now we're
I don't know about
seeing
Microsoft.
I don't know about the way forward, like long term.
right, but
I think we thought for this generation, it was just going to be an absolute bar. I mean, it is an absolute bargain, but it's
it's
not...
a bargain, right? But we've now had a year and a half, maybe 2 years of looking at that service and going, what have I got out of it? And for the first time thinking, actually, not an insane amount, right?
I don't know. It's been a weird one because obviously with Zelda being out and stuff, there's definitely been stuff appearing on Game Pass that I've just not investigated.
I looked at it at the weekend because I'd finished Zelda. Spoilers, finished Zelda, and I went right. I'm going to play a Game Pass game, so I was got something else to talk about. And I looked at the recently released, and I was like, "Fucking hell!"
Are you not going to give Planet of
poor.
Lana a go? 'Cause that's up your street, surely.
I can't remember what was that.
That
was
one.
After my glowing review.
I was
that
going
was
to say
the
Matt,
one that
Matt
you
was a
said
bit
was
lukewarm
terrible,
on it.
Matt.
He didn't say it was
I didn't say
terrible.
it was terrible. I said it was fine, good.
That was
It
the
wasn't up there with
inside
Inside.
type
So
game.
why haven't you rushed to download it, David?
Yeah, you idiot. I said it was okay/good.
Yeah, maybe I should play that. Actually.
Yeah, I think we thought Game Pass was the way forward for Xbox, and they only did that because they were, getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly and had to act. And so that if Xbox had performed well in Xbox One generation, we wouldn't have Game Pass. They would have done
100%.
exactly what PlayStation do, and they would have, also hopefully released plenty of games, premium games, and people would have bought them. It's only because they had to react, they had to go totally outside the way we've normally purchase and engage with gaming. Like this, like Sony don't have to do that because they're still releasing quality premium experiences, every like 3 or so months. So yeah, I would
I
never
don't know about
expected them
that.
to do this.
Every 3 or so months.
Also, I mean, they're also doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Do you know what I want now more than anything that would make that would make me happy about gaming again in a big way? Nintendo just going, yeah, fuck it, we're releasing a new console this year. Go fuck yourselves. Oh
would be
my god,
amazing.
imagine that. And here's new Mario games.
That would be good. That would be shot in the arm, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I like
getting Pikmin.
Sony would never need to change their model.
Yeah,
So
what the fuck? Yeah, they're another company. What is going on with gaming at the moment? Am I going through a phase of just being really fed up?
I think
feel
you
like
might
I'm going
because I
through a
still feel
phase
like
of
I have
being
no
fed up.
shortage of things to play at all.
Really?
I'm
Well, what you
pretty
got?
happy.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. What we're
That's
going
the
on to
thing. Like,
next.
I know what you. I mean, all of my stuff that I'm playing now is all just like backlog stuff mostly. It's stuff that I didn't get round to that I wanted to eventually. But there's not so much coming like right now that I'm really excited about.
But then
in
I
the
do
next 6
remember.
months.
I think, funnily enough, I think it's Spider-Man 2 that I'm most excited about this year now.
that's
Like,
I'm well pumped
because
for
I'm pretty sure I will at least really like it. You know what I mean? At the very least, I'll like that game. Whereas Starfield, I worry that I'm going to start it and just go, oh, fuck this. Hello, there are some rats in the thing. Can you clear them and come back here? And then all the doors have opened and your character's
That's what
holding
I'm. That's
his
what I'm
hand
worried
above
about with
his eyes.
Starfield is that it will just be the Bethesda.
Kill the
template.
space rats, my boy.
Yeah, it's almost definitely going to be that.
Well, also, Matt Booty did say that it's the least buggy game that Bethesda have ever released.
I mean, that's
Well,
glowing, isn't it? That's it's going to be the least fucked thing they've ever done.
I hope for their sake. I mean, Twitter's going to blow up if like that launches and it's an absolute mess. It's like Microsoft might also say, well, we are done. That is it. We are out of gaming. Fuck Activision. We're just selling the whole thing to Embracer for 40 quid. We're done. We can't be bothered this anymore. If that game launches and it's a disaster, either review-wise or launch and technical or servers, that just
Your
That's
Game Pass sub is now converted to an Office 365
yeah,
subscription.
fuck it. What's the point?
Deal with it.
Spencer quits. Booty's out. Sarah Bond's gone. It's like, there's no point, mate. We're going to work on Office.
okay, all right. God,
And-
it's really down show today.
Well, this will get you excited. The last story here is that PS5 game streaming is coming to PlayStation Plus. So
Oh, good.
yeah, you'll be able to stream.
No, Sean,
PS5
be
games.
enthusiastic.
Yeah,
Let's try again.
They've done it before, haven't they? PlayStation Now. Do you remember that?
yeah, but no, this is.
Is that? I was going to say, is that all this is?
No, this is okay. So at the moment, you can stream PS4 games through it, and also the PS3 games that are in the catalog. But now they're adding PS5 as well, and obviously this is probably because they're planning this
Okay.
for the release of that ridiculous handheld.
Stupid.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. There's a little bit of news for you, wasn't it? A little bit of news. Feels like it's gonna be a short show, baby. Watch
go.
Matt try and extend it.
No, I'm going to actually do the opposite and make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
Let's get to
go.
questions
I need
now.
an early night. Let's go.
Thanks for living it, everyone. We will
Socials.
catch you next week.
No socials. Later.
What you've been playing, very quickly. Well, it's not going to be very quickly at all because
No,
I
it's
know
not. No, what are you talking
I'm
about?
not the only one. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. This has been. If you're not into The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, then you must have had hell with this show for the past 4 weeks. But you'll be glad to know that I've finished The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And let me tell you, while we were recording last week's show, where I was going off on how I don't think I'll ever complete it because I'm really pissed off and blah 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 blah, Scientologist, who is a regular fan mod contributor to the
Lifelong
show,
fan.
Not a real
Lifelong
Scientologist, we should say.
not a real Scientologist, was messaging me saying, "You're an idiot. It's easy. You don't need to. What are you doing?" And I was
He does
just
that
like,
a lot, though, to be fair.
yeah,
to be fair.
you do this for everything, Ben. You do it for everything. So stop. Just shut up. Oh, it's easy, is it? Well, it's not for me. Well, it turns out, really. Yeah, I mean, I think I was just intimidated by the ending more than I should have been. The ending's pretty straightforward, and I found it quite easy, really. In fact, all the stuff that I did up in the overworld to try and prepare for the fight, I really didn't even use when I was down there. Like, it didn't make any difference to the battle that I faced down there. And yeah, do you know what? I thought the ending was fucking brilliant. Like, the last battle bit was absolutely stunning and really blew my mind. Even if it was a bit basic and forced or whatever, it's still, I had a grin on my face throughout.
I should say, so I've also finished it.
Yeah, we spoke about it a bit
excellent.
privately, haven't we?
Without any spoilers,
No.
I feel like the final battles do like a really nice job of, like, because again, no spoilers, but obviously going into the final fight, I was like, what is this going to be like? Because with Breath of the Wild, we knew Calamity Ganon was like a fucking massive monster, right? So we knew it was going to be like a spectre. Whereas this is like, well, he's just a guy now. So what's this? Is this going to be like a duel and that's it, or what? But they find a way to do that and have the spectacle, and it's
that first bit of it though, that first fight bit. I know you said you quite enjoyed that. I thought it was completely pointless. That
really,
I didn't see the point in it. I didn't
I
understand
liked it.
thematically why it was there. I didn't really understand why it was there in terms of challenge. I was just like,
I don't think it was meant to be challenging. I think it's meant to be cool.
Oh, really?
I think it was meant to make you
I don't think it's
feel
cool.
a bit powerful before you go into the.
Oh, really? I didn't get that feeling. I felt powerful when I fought that bit that you were talking about, but I know you had problems with that mechanically, right? And I get that.
I can talk around that without spoiling it, right?
Okay, sure.
Going into the final, I mean, if you played Tears of the Kingdom, it will be no surprise to you that gloom damage is an issue in the very final part of the game. And I ran out of like food I'd made that healed gloom damage, and then failed my first attempt at doing the final boss, and was like, right, cool. Well, I'll just jet back up to the surface, do some cooking, and it couldn't. It doesn't let you. You can't teleport. Once you're in that final act, you are locked in. So the only way. So I managed to do it because obviously I'm fucking brilliant at games.
Epic gamer.
Yeah, exactly.
It is easy.
To
be fair,
it wasn't too bad in the end. But I was just like, fuck. So there could be people who could be at this point with like fucking 2 hearts left and no food, and just be like, well, I've got to lose half an hour's progress now and just load a previous save.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
So that was. So yeah, all I'm saying is going into that final bit, take loads of food.
Is there a clear warning, like, hey, you're going to go into the last? No.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But you are definitely heading to that last battle.
You're definitely doing it on purpose. But yeah, there's no.
It's not like you can walk into it. I mean, it is fucking that whole.
Yeah.
Getting there is the hardest part of the whole thing.
Yes.
Can I ask a question about mechanics of this, of like the end area? Does this use, shall we say, traditional Zelda mechanics for the end of a game, or does it mix things up quite a lot?
What do you mean?
I'm talking, like, well, no, because I don't want to spoil it if it does do this.
But they will already know if that. How are we supposed to know? But the listeners aren't.
Because I thought you would have understood what I meant, like by
right. But then if we understand,
are you asking if you can whip out a Zonai death machine and just laser the fuck out of Ganon? And
I'm asking whether they always
similar. I would say it's very similar to the end of the last game.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, that does. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I right there, Sean? I think it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Some trepidation.
I will say this though. I thought the narratively, I thought the ending was shit. Like I thought playing through it, I really enjoyed it, but I thought there was so much cool shit in the narrative of Tears of the Kingdom. Like genuinely, the story behind it wiped the floor with Breath of the Wild. Even if there was some shit in there, I think the stories in the side quests were worse. Like the side quests in Breath of the Wild were just way better than they are in this. But the main thread of the story was better in Tears of the Kingdom, but they don't. Yeah, they don't.
I know what you mean.
They fucking ruin it a little bit.
I
And
had
it angers me.
feelings at the end.
I was going to text you
But-
and say you're going to cry.
Yeah.
You maybe didn't cry, but I was going to text you and say
Not far
you're
off.
going to cry at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but there is some bullshit in there which we
There is some bullshit in
which
there.
we will not discuss.
Right.
But yeah, overall, fucking great.
Well, I've got a question.
Yeah.
I think I want to know the answer. It's what you touched on last week.
Oh, do
And-
we do what happens after? That's what you're
Well,
asking.
no, I mean, I guess what you don't have to answer, but the question is, when you finish the game, does it then reload and you're basically pre-end of the game again?
Well, do we
Is that
say?
Is it a
spoilery?
spoiler to answer that? I don't know.
I
feel like
I
I would
don't know
rather.
about
okay, no, it's not a spoiler to answer that. I don't think it is.
I feel like I
to
would
answer that.
rather have known. Right?
Okay, well, if you don't want to hear it, you can fast forward like 30 seconds or whatever.
Yep.
But no, you go back to a previous save just beforehand.
I guess I
It's got a
expected
little
that, but-
star on it, so you know.
Little
that's
star
your-
on it
your
like it did
Yeah,
completed
that's
before.
save.
enough. Yeah,
But you
I mean, I guess
still-
that's not a huge surprise, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little. Oh, and there is something else as well because your profile the final boss goes into your character
Oh, that's
profile
right. Yeah,
list
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Look, I loved it. I maintain my overlooking like I've completed it now, right? And I did it in 75 hours. So that's a big old chunk of game, right? It's not as much as I played the last game, but I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be playing it somewhere later in
it
the
does
year.
make the next question. Yeah.
I look at it and I go, it does a lot of stuff better than Breath of the Wild. To say what game would be in my top 10, Breath of the Wild's still my favourite game of all time. And the reason for that is not necessarily that it's a better game than Tears of the Kingdom. We sort of touched on it last week, but there's no way it's going to be able to get that surprise.
Yeah.
The
Like
Breath of the Wild got out of me,
this
you know.
builds on Breath of the Wild in loads of incredible ways that we never thought it even could. Because obviously,
Right.
even just a couple of months ago, we were still being like, "But how did they make that better?" And I believe they did, but it's nowhere near the leap that Breath of the Wild took. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no like
I
Breath
would
of the Wild
I
was
would
such
say
a
they're
bold
pretty.
reinvention.
Yeah.
Well, so bold reinvention whilst also kind of going back to the roots in like really smart ways. I don't. Yeah, like you can't top that. Do you know what I mean? Even though I would say Tears of the Kingdom is a better game, does that make any sense?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's a better game. I would say that they're quite even, but Breath of the Wild had the surprise factor and that leap factor.
Yeah.
So that's where I sit with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking minor arguments, Yeah, I'm open to the
Yeah.
idea that it's a better game, but I just didn't see it for me personally.
I've never.
But-
We could. We'll briefly talk about because I know you hated the Fire Temple, right?
Hated it.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was rubbish as well. I didn't like
Well,
it.
this is the thing, and I was like, I'm intrigued to do it because it'd be interesting to have a discussion about it, and maybe if I have a different experience of it because I did it last. I did because I just built a fucking goblin glider and just flew around and did everything. It didn't do any of the puzzles.
So getting around
So-
that temple wasn't a problem for me because I
Yeah.
was just ascending everywhere, so it was fine.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I felt that there was a very specific route through that temple
yeah.
that it didn't feel like with the others. The others felt like
Right.
pockets, right?
Yeah.
With this one, it felt like there was a route.
Mhm.
And when I fucked with that route, I was completely lost.
Mhm.
And like I would appear, like I would ascend to midway through a puzzle.
Right.
And I'm like, well, am I supposed to be going that way or that way?
Right, I
and
see.
will this work if I haven't activated that switch now?
Yeah.
Like, you walk into a puzzle room, usually there's a switch there, you got to do stuff there, and it affects stuff later on. And because you've changed that switch at the start of the level, you know that you can go back there and switch it if you want. Whereas the Fire Temple, it was like I've ascended and here's a big here's a little big like one of those rotating things, and I'm moving things about, but I don't know what the effect of that is, and I don't know which way I should go to see the effect of it.
Yeah.
It was confusing.
It's fascinating because, as I say, like I just took the piss out of that temple, but and that's not me saying I'm fucking mint, and it's not me saying oh well
Sounds like
it
it.
was shit because it was bad design because I was able to just sort of fly around and ignore most of it. I think it's interesting because, as I've said, what I like about Tears of the Kingdom so much is that you can become so knowledgeable that you by the end of the game you are just breezing through everything, and I do think that's by design, because I think that's how they, again months ago we were saying, yeah, but how do they make the world interesting again? In a lot of ways they didn't. They just made it so like, do you remember like Breath of the Wild when you first trying to reach the Goron place up in Death Mountain, and it's like a whole thing, you've got to get the armor first because otherwise you just fucking burn to death when you try and get up there, and it was like this whole ordeal. Like, oh man, have you been up the mountain yet? Whereas in this one, I went to the nearest tower and just fucking skydive right in. And that's, in a way, there's something missing there as a result.
Yeah,
but also
totally.
that's the game saying, like, we know you did this in Breath of the Wild. We're not going to make you do it again. We know it's not going to be the same.
I know. And I think that's where I sit with it, because you sit in and you look and you go, in the first game, you're like, what is that fucking dragon flying in the sky? That's terrifying. What is going on there? Oh my God, it's not attacking me when I go near it. What can I do with this thing? You talk to someone, they tell you what. Whereas in this one, it's like, oh, there's one of those dragons in here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
There's loads of them.
That thing.
Oh, there's one in particular. You're going to sit on it for an hour while you're supposed to be working from home and farm it for resources.
It does like there's less mystery and less adventure.
Yeah,
the adventure is more how you navigate the environment, and not. No, I think it's less about it's less about the environment and what's on it. It's more how we navigate the environment with its whether it's machine.
But and like I say, and I think that's an intentional thing. Is that it's about Link's journey from being sword guy to fucking genius inventor / skydiver /
engineer.
Fucking and that's interesting.
And that's the biggest problem about trying to be critical about a game like this, right? Because what I'm trying to do is justify my reasons why I would rate Breath of the Wild higher than Tears of the Kingdom, right? And in doing so, I'm making it sound like I didn't enjoy this game. I spent 75 hours on this game. I fucking loved every moment, pretty much. There were minor bits where I was a bit bored or frustrated. I spent 75 hours on it in the space of 3 or 4 weeks. This game is superb. It's brilliant, and it's a worthy successor to Breath of the Wild. Absolutely a worthy successor to Breath of the Wild, right? There's not a situation here where I'm playing a sequel to my favourite game of all time and saying, this is shit, they've ruined it. No, not even close. It's brilliant, right? But that's the problem with being critical of a game like this, is that you really need to nail down in what the differences are and why it didn't reach that level for me. And in doing so, sometimes maybe you give the impression that you didn't enjoy yourself. Because I did. I fucking loved it.
The fact they got close is an achievement in itself. And
100%.
But this isn't uncommon. I mean, this is a different example. Even when the new Tomb Raider reboots came out, first one I loved. Second one was arguably better in every way, but I just didn't have anywhere near the same love for it because the first one felt so different. And these two, we're comparing one of the greatest games of all time with a sequel which incredibly gets close. Some people might say better. It's no wonder where. Just because the new one may be technically better in a lot of aspects, the first one just enraptured everyone, the whole world. So it's not a surprise really that you may have more affinity with that. Sorry, James.
What I'm wondering here though is where this is a ridiculous question, but where do they go next with this? Because I've got no idea. Because the thing is, they've succeeded this time by basically, as you said, introducing new ways to interact with the world. So it makes it feel new and exciting again. Can you do that again for a third game? Do you think you can, some different mechanics or whatever?
FromSoft showed that you absolutely can do that.
But does it need to have a different map though, or whatever? Does it need? Or can it?
Yeah, it needs to. It can't be in the same world again. It needs to be in a new world, and it needs to have completely new concepts for everything you see and everything you do.
So they can't do this again, is what you're saying?
Well,
we can't have the same Hyrule map again.
No, they can't. They can't.
They had
have the
Hyrule,
same
they had
Hyrule
depths,
map again.
they had the sky. I feel like they've done them 3 now. A new, I think they're going to
can't really go further up or down.
Well, as ordinarily Benton, chat space. That's it. Basically, they've done below, they've done the ground, which you've seen before. They've done the sky. That's it. It was nice to get
look at what FromSoft have done. Every one of their games have come out and they felt unique. All right, some of the Dark Souls games had similar tones, but still there was enough there to go, shit, this is a completely different world, right? And okay, they're a little bit more linear than the older ones before pre Elden Ring, a little bit more linear than Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but they've shown how to keep giving that From Software feeling in various different ways. Nintendo need to look at that as an example, I think. Which is mad that we're saying that, because we're talking about some of the best games ever made.
Like just
Literally, I consider Breath of the Wild the best game ever made, and I'm sitting there going, two games on, they need to really sort this out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating to see what they do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's
We've
not
got
going to
to
be a long
stop
time
talking
away,
about
though, innit?
Zelda.
It's going to be ages.
Yeah, it's still
we've
be on
got to
Switch,
stop
though.
talking about Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, I won't talk much, but I started replaying it again this week, and I've done all the towers, so I think I'm near the end now, and I'm enjoying it. But I feel like I haven't played it for so long. I feel like I need to kind of almost I'm not going to restart my save. I'm like 50 hours in.
You've done all the towers and you think you're near the end?
Yeah,
That was a joke.
Oh,
little gag there, Sean.
sorry.
Really gotta...
Sorry.
No,
sorry. Quite tired.
yeah.
Sorry.
So no, don't worry about it.
Edit point. Edit point.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. I'll try better next time. Yeah, but I feel like it's been so long since I played it properly. I kind of need to just not restart properly. I'm not saying delete my save, but at least relearn all the mechanics and stuff. But it was still really fun going for the towers. And I'm currently on like the water. I'm basically about to get into the water temple. So
cool.
Yeah,
that was a good one. I thought. I really like the water one.
My favourite one was the last one I did, and only you might understand that, Sean.
Oh yes.
Oh
yep.
Yeah.
It's the best one, right?
Gotcha.
It is the best one, right?
It's very cool. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay.
I mean, it sounds like James, you must be pretty far into it, right? Or
No,
We have to, Matt. We have to stop
we've done
talking
all
about
that
Zelda and Breath of
roundups.
the Wild.
James hasn't mentioned where
Tears
he
of the
is.
Oh, because it's
he
not.
doesn't
We've
want
been
to.
we've been speaking about it for ages, right? All he's going to do is say where he is. And what benefit? I'm not going to extend the podcast. I know it's going to be a short one. I'm not going to extend it.
Let's end it now.
Right. I did go on to Jedi Survivor afterwards, James. I haven't written it down because I haven't played that much more of it. But you finished this over the week.
Yeah, I finished it last week, and over the
did it
weekend I
take
played it. I think it was under 20 hours. It was definitely
Right,
I think
still
under
long.
20 hours, which is
Shit.
But yeah, I mean, I went back to it because I obviously got sidetracked by Zelda and by a bunch of other things, and then I just thought, well, I'd like to go back and see if I can finish it. And I mostly ignored most of the side quests, I think, by the end, and I just kind of mainlined it because I was enjoying the story. I really enjoyed the story, and it goes some very interesting places that I'd like to talk about with you guys at some point if you ever finish it, because it's like
I'll finish it.
Yeah, because it has a very, very interesting sort of like narrative. I don't want to say twist, but like the way it takes some of the characters was not where I was expecting it to go. And
He's not a Jedi. He's not a Jedi.
He's not. No, he's
not really ginger.
Yeah,
he didn't survive. Yeah, I mean, jumping back into it's been quite hard. But like it, it didn't take me long to get back into the swing of things. So what just out of interest, what stances are you using, or did you use for the main part?
I used the double-ended pretty much for the entire game.
Really?
That was the one I liked. Yeah,
Maybe I need to use that more because I'm using the cross guard is the big heavy sword, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get on with that because it just took too long.
I was
to
going to
swing.
say everyone I've heard talk about it is just like, oh, fucking forget every other stance once.
Well, that's funny actually because they tweeted out like the most popular stances, right? And cross guard was like the lowest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's the one I use because it just instantly gets rid of everyone else's defense. Like you put them, you like stun them with every hit. It's nuts. So I've been using that a lot, but
no, this is why. I mean, but I enjoy the double-ended one mostly because of the fact that you can like skip
James,
around.
people are already demanding to clip the first time you said that.
James, calm down.
But no, but it's the way. It works because it works really well with with fast movement and stuff like that, and you can take out tons of people as well, like really quickly, which is great. So I enjoyed that a lot. It was.
What advice have you got for me for someone who's like about halfway through that game? I think. Am I halfway through? Let me tell you where I am. I've done the stuff with the scorpion, in the desert where you're climbing over him.
Yeah.
And then you fight him, and I've done all that. I've done the stuff with the laser beams to open up the gusts of wind.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that bit?
Yes, I do remember that bit.
Done
Oh,
all
yeah, I
that.
remember that bit.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? And
See,
now
but-
I've just got the ability to go through the green doors, basically.
Oh, okay. You're probably I'd say about maybe halfway or 2/3 of the way through.
Halfway. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna finish it. But have you got any advice for me at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
Use the Force.
I mean, apart from using the Force, obviously, I mean, I would probably not bother with the side quests and stuff because I don't think they're that interesting, honestly.
No.
And it's also because the map system I don't think is very good either in this game. I find it was not very great for trying to find out
They
where,
haven't
where you're
done
trying to
much from what they gave for the last game, right? They haven't changed it
Yeah.
much, and that was a criticism before. It's like, how do you get from this point to this point? But yeah, that 3D map sucked.
But then what I would do is I would focus on like maybe one or at most two styles and like just perfect those.
That's my other biggest problem, right? You've got what, 6 styles, 7 styles?
Yeah, I mean, I re-rolled at one point because I was like, this is not working for me, and
Exactly.
then I just put everything into one after that, and then
Every
became-
stance has a new skill tree.
Yeah.
Then you've got skill trees for defense.
Mhm.
You've got skill tree, which is your health. You've got skill trees for the force.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh my god, there's so many skill trees here. What
But
am I
it-
supposed to be focusing
But the thing is, it depends on like what you enjoy. Like, do you enjoy doing the force power stuff more than battling with lightsabers?
on? Are you asking if I'm the dark side or not? Is this your
No.
way of
No.
judging?
This is because this is the thing because
like
I
strangling people.
didn't care much for the force powers really, and I just wanted to hit people with lightsabers. So that's
Did
why
you
I
see-
put almost
did
all
you
my
see,
points into that.
Did you see over the weekend, Sean, Darth Vader getting kicked out of the ashes?
No.
It was quite good. You got to see it because he was in full Darth Vader costume and he was getting booted out. I assume he went on the pitch and he was getting dragged out by security, but Darth Vader's just like walking out. It is, highly recommended. Yeah, I don't know. I need to get back into it. It's good
same.
to hear that you got into the story because I think the weakest part of that game so far is the story. I don't really know what I'm doing. But it has been a while since I played
But
it. So
as I said,
need
I
to
just
brush up on the story
just
again.
just focus on the main line because
Okay.
the other stuff is it's all right.
What
but
would you give it out of 10?
maybe 7 or an 8, I'd say.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you say it was better than the last one, would you?
Yeah, I think I would actually.
It's a shame because after the last one, we were like, the next one's going to be brilliant. And I was really bummed out when it launched in the state that it did,
It's
And even now, what, like a month and a half after it comes, 6 weeks after it come out, and I boot it up and I put it on, performance mode, and it still drops frames.
yeah,
like
it's broken.
mad.
You just play it
And
on
yeah, and the
other mode.
flickering when you're moving the camera around, you see that
Yeah.
little
like screen
white
tearing?
lights. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
not screen tearing. It's like it's as if like some textures haven't loaded in, like, and it
Right.
takes like a split second where you see just white, and then the texture loads in. It's like, oh fuck, man, this is
I mean,
so weird.
The other thing which isn't so great is like there's all the bits where you have to like jump, between areas and stuff like that, and you have to like run along walls and stuff like that. You know how that gets a bit irritating in places.
Yeah.
It gets a lot worse towards the end
Right,
of the game.
that's why the best advice I was given about that game was turn off full damage.
Yes,
because then
100%.
it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
definitely do that.
The amount of times I've had it where I've tried to do a wall run and he started running the other direction, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm sick. Yeah, okay. Are we done with that?
Yeah, for Jedi, yeah.
Good, but you've also been playing Street Fighter 6.
I have. I mean,
Coming-
this.
You're becoming quite the Gary Newton, aren't you, James?
Quite the gamer.
But yeah, I mean, I've been playing this mostly because I was going to go and play Lost Judgment because I've owned that for like ages, and I thought I'd like to play that at some point, and I booted it up, and then I just was like, I don't think I can take all this dialogue and all this like there's cutscenes at the moment. It's too much, and I mean, I'd only not so long ago finished Yakuza 5, and so like the idea of like going back to that city again, and I know it like looks a lot better and stuff, and I just thought I'm not up for this right now because it's been too soon since
I
finishing
mean,
that.
not just the same city, but the same block.
Yeah,
of the same
exactly.
city.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Which
and
is,
it-
you know, and I know that's like the whole thing, and it is interesting the way it evolves through the games and stuff. But yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, and I will enjoy going back there again at some point. It's just now doesn't feel like the right time. So then I just thought, well, I could go back to World Tour because it's basically quite similar, just stripped back massively, and it'd be fun to do that. And so I played that over most of the weekend, and I'm having a very good time with it. But I've now hit the grind, and this is the point at which I'm starting to get a bit annoyed, actually, because because it does that typical thing of getting to the point where it's like, okay, there's been a nice difficulty curve going up here. This has not been too difficult. I've been upgrading my character. It's at a reasonable level, but now I'm know that I'm going to have to spend some time just fighting random people for ages until my level goes up high enough that I can progress the story. And I hate that in games.
See, this is bit I've only played like a bit more of this, so wasn't going to put it on the list, but yeah, like I'm finding that like that World Tour mode is like delightfully stupid.
Yeah.
Like I've just done the bit where I'm trying to get a man to make me a knockoff handbag, and then he's giving me some plane tickets to Rome.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course. I love that. The general tone of it is great, but it does feel like it leans too far into like just making you run around and have like, and people are just starting on you constantly. And I'm just like, yeah, but these aren't like interesting Street Fighter matches. These are just stupid NPCs who I can just repeatedly use throws on over and over again if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like there's no fun to be had in battering them. And it's just not necessary. Like they could have just had fewer fights in it and it would have been fine. But
see, I really like the idea of having like the main characters as being like masters, that you have to like track them down, you become their student or whatever, and then you've got to like improve your characters so that they you level up with them and stuff. I like that. I think it's a great concept. But having to do the same fights over and over again, it has that like JRPG side of things of just like we need to elongate this for quite a lot longer, so we're just going to make people do the same thing over and over again until numbers go up.
You preempted that, didn't you?
James, if you were to do a stream whereby if you lost you had to drink a shot, given all the playing you've done now, how many drinks do you reckon you'll do in an evening?
I think it'd be much less now, I think, than it was before.
And you'll be able to drive home afterwards. I think
probably, I could probably ride my bike a little bit further, I think, with it before I fell in a bush.
So Friday night, you're doing a stream, and then someone's going to video you cycling your bike.
Shit, maybe I'll do that again.
Just put a GoPro on, you'd be fine.
A drinking stream of your choice, Matt, would make for a good bet forfeit, wouldn't it? Eh? It's just an idea.
Would.
We'll come back to
Certainly would.
Come back to that. I'll send some facts over.
Oh my god,
every
a
time
fact
you lose.
stream.
Oh, that was so gross.
Okay.
But that's all I've got for this week. But yeah.
Good. Sean, I want to hear from you.
Hello.
What have you been playing this week?
I've got a few to rattle through. So obviously I finished Zelda, played some more Wheel of Katamari, which I know, was it last week I spoke about it? And I know I was positive, but I was a bit like, it's like, it's good that they released this, but it's, same game. I was, the other night I was just feeling a bit rough and I put this on and it was like taking a fucking Hoover to my brain and just getting all the dust out. And I was just like, oh no, there's nothing like this. This is fucking brilliant. I adore it. So yeah, just wanted to acknowledge, I've played more of it and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck was I talking about? This is amazing. Like, it's just such a joyful, stupid thing. I love it. So yeah, finally demos of everything we saw at like Summer Game Fest, or whatever, have started appearing on Steam, and possibly other places. I'm not sure. But yeah, there is a demo for Jusant, the new Don't Nod game.
Yeah, that's just Steam.
Yeah,
sadly.
Jusant.
That's Steam only at the moment.
Is it Steam only?
Yeah,
Right, okay.
that one. Yeah, I was like, oh, I saw you playing it. I was like, I really want to play that myself. And then
This
that's
is
just
with the
Steam.
don't nod sliding, the climbing
Slicing.
game.
Yeah.
The climbing game. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yes,
Um,
I
like,
really want this to be brilliant.
because and this is coming from me, who, as you know, I've said, like they appear to have like had Life is Strange like taken off them, and I know like when possibly due to the way we played it, but like tell me why we weren't as thrilled.
Shit,
with,
yeah.
It wasn't very good.
So I was a bit like, maybe maybe they've lost it. And I know that they've put other games out since that I couldn't even name because they just weren't a big deal. So I really wasn't expecting loads from this, but I absolutely adored the demo. It is basically what you'll have got from the trailer. Like it appears to be this like post-apocalyptic wasteland. The seas have dried up. So there's just this like endless landscape of just sand and bits of coral and wrecked ships and stuff. But yeah, your character has travelled to this one huge like landmass, like this big tower, effectively, and it becomes apparent that people have been living on it at various different points all the way up. So they've some of it you're climbing your way up, and some of it's like natural, like you just bits of rock and crevices and stuff. You're sort of finding your way around, but then other times there are clearly man-made bits, right? There's been little ladders have been put in or whatever, and you'll come to little sections where clearly like it's where someone lived, right, for a bit, but it's all appears to be empty now. Don't know where that's going story-wise. Don't know if it's going to turn out everyone's just living at the top or what. But it appears to be totally abandoned. But the climbing itself just strikes a really nice balance between, like, obviously you are doing it yourself, and you do have that sort of fine control over your limbs. You basically, it's always the left stick, moves your arms around, but obviously you're always holding on to something with either your left or your right arm, which you pull the trigger to grip with the hand, right? So you feel like you are climbing. You're making these little choices of like where you put each hand as you making your way up. But it's not like QWOP, right? It's not like you have this like the control is so nuanced that you're just fucking up constantly. Like it's
so it's not like Mountain Your Friends.
Exactly, yeah. Like it just flows really nicely, but without you feeling like it's automatic,
Does it feel like tiring then in that sense?
No, because obviously you just like clicking left and right hands with the triggers, and then sort of moving the stick around, sort of guide your arms around. So yeah, and like your feet just sort of take care of themselves. Where it starts to get a little bit more technical is like, so sometimes there are jumps, sometimes you have to sort of figure out where you're making a calculated risk, like, right, I think I can jump over to that bit there, and obviously that's a bit terrifying. But obviously you're always secured. Like every time you start a climb, you have this little retractable rope that attaches to something, and then you can also like set like in any sort of given route. I think you can put up to like 4 points in the wall where you're securing your rope, and then it's not called a rope. I know there's a proper term for it, and I've fucking forgotten it. Matt, help.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry to any climbers listening. It's a fucking rope. Deal with it.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, so Phil was saying the piton is the thing you like knock into the wall, and that gives you basically that's like your checkpoint, right? But obviously it's up to you to manage that, because obviously you have a limited number. Obviously, in the demo, there aren't any particularly lengthy climbs. You're never going to run out of pitons before you get to the like a safe point. And then once you climb onto a ledge, you then hold the B button, and like your rope just retracts, and then you start again in the next bit.
Yeah. What's the penalty for failure though? Like, is there any penalty?
Well, this is it, because it's basically if you fucked up and you end up letting go, you will then just swing freely based on where the rope was most recently attached. And there are bits where you have to do that, and that's where it starts getting interesting, because there are bits where it's like, right, well, there's no more handholds here, but if I put a piton in here and then drop down, and then you can like run back and forth across the wall, and then like jump and then like grab something else, and that's when it gets
great.
cool.
Is this?
And a bit scary, but but just really interesting. It's just obviously it's a game just about that movement and that, you know, working out the routes and stuff, but that is fundamentally just really fun to do. And then the fact that it's peppered with these little narrative bits, as I say, you know, it's Don't Nod. They love you rummaging through other people's shit and reading the letters and stuff. It's got all that. I don't know if that's going to feed into like a larger narrative or if it's just, you know, sort of little insights into people's lives or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and it looks fucking beautiful as well. Like the lighting and stuff is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
From the video, it feels almost like a vertical version of like an Inside or Limbo. Do you get that kind of impression? It feels like almost a side scroller,
Really?
but it's climbing instead.
I guess, yeah.
Are you doing much puzzling then?
Well, I was going to say, yeah, there's not been much in way of puzzles, I would say. It is all just traversal and figuring your way around the environments, but there's no... Yeah, there's not been any sort of puzzles.
I was thinking more, less than the puzzling, or like, I guess maybe you could say that climbing is a puzzle, but more, you know, the fact that you're navigating this environment left to right, and or in this case up and down, up, you know, going up. But like, yeah, there's some emotional connection to the environment, and it's telling a story through quite subtle things that you're seeing in the environment. Yeah,
and there's this sort of ebb and flow between like, right, I'm going to do another climbing bit, and then there will be a break, and I will learn a bit of story, and then there will be climbing bit, and that sort of back and forth is yeah. Really
that's certainly what I seen when I watched it. I was like, okay, it's an interesting take on it.
So yeah, really cool, really pleased.
When's it out?
I don't know. Has it got a date?
Checking because
I
had a look and it said they didn't seem to have a release date yet.
Shit. Well, maybe it's a while off then.
Shame.
They're kind of that far off if they're putting a demo out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I thought it was August, but maybe not.
Oh wow, that's way sooner than I thought.
Oh no, sorry, it says fall 2023.
Oh right.
Okay, so it's still this year though, so that's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
The other one I played was On Guard. This was, I can't remember where we saw this. Was this on the PC gaming one possibly? So this is the sort of swashbuckling sword fighting game where it's all about using the environment, kicking over barrels, knocking people into weapon racks, knocking people into the sea, etc. Yeah, really good fun. Really like this. Just like the combat is obviously, you know, there's parries and dodges and stuff, but it's quite generous in terms of the timing. So it's more about it wants you, like, obviously the timing is important, but it's more about reading the flow of the battle, where like positioning of the enemies. Like if you're fighting one person one-on-one, they'll attack you and you can parry the hit, right? There's like sort of visual indicators of what sort of attack they're doing. But if there's more than one person, the people you're not focusing on will do like unparryable attacks, so you've got to dodge those, and that just like creates just this really sort of interesting flow. Like and it's like, obviously they've done it on purpose because they don't want you to be able to be surrounded by like 5 enemies and just parry the fuck out of all of them. It's like, no, if there's more than one person, it's basically telling you've got to move, like you've got to retreat and then find, like, oh shit, well there's a stairway with some barrels, like fucking run up there and kick the barrels down and knock everyone over. Just stuff like that. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Really enjoy the demo of that. And the last one is demo of Viewfinder, the one with the photographs that you hold up and then they become the world. And you know, obviously we talked last week, I think, about how like it's been a strange one because it's one of those ones that would surface on Twitter every so often, and everyone's like, holy fuck, this is such a good idea for a game, like this looks really interesting, and then it would go quiet for ages and then it would reappear, and now finally it's like seemingly nearly out. It fully delivers on, like, it's exactly as cool as you would hope.
Nice.
Like, I'm so pleased with it. Like, the fact that, like, the way it sort of escalates is you start out, like, you don't have the camera to begin with. You sort of earn it partway through. So you're just, like, finding the pictures lying around in the environment, right? And then using them to sort of create more of the environment. So I didn't realize, like, basically what you're trying to do in each level is there's a teleporter, and you activate that, and then that takes you to the next level. Sometimes that teleporter needs powering. Sometimes it needs, like, a bunch of batteries to do it. So you might need 3 batteries, but there might only be 1 in the level. So what do? You take a photo of it, and then use that to make another battery, and then you take a photo of that. And
Oh, clever.
so you're essentially like photocopying the world, right, and duplicating items. You know, things where like you're trying to get across a gap, and you look, and it's giving you a photograph, like of the gap, and you're like, well, what's the fucking point in this? And then you realise that there's nothing to walk on, but there is a ceiling. So you turn the photograph upside down, and then you apply that, and then you just walk across. Loads of little touches like that. You're just like, fuck, man, this is really
Just looking
clever.
at that trailer makes me feel sick about the development of that game, because you just think, oh my god, the amount of shit that can go wrong. You know what I mean? If you place that in the wrong bit or whatever, you could completely fuck the game.
Yeah.
God,
it's weird because
a
I think
nightmare to work on.
Because certainly, like there are times where you'll place something and it makes it look weird, right? Because obviously you've sliced through stuff that was pre-built, right, in order to place like a photograph. But you sort of think, well, yeah, of course. Like what else? What do I expect them to do about that? Like, of course that's going to look weird and kind of hacked together because that's what I'm doing. That's just the nature of the puzzles. I also didn't realize that there's it plays around with different art styles, so it's not always photographs you're using. Sometimes it's drawings and stuff. And obviously once you walk into them, like the art style of the drawing becomes the world. It's really good. I was really, really impressed. I was like, I already knew I was excited about this, but I was, you know, when you sort of think like it's such a good idea that am I gonna finally play it and be like, yeah, it's all right. Like, it's, you know,
Right.
I was expecting to be a little bit underwhelmed, but no, really, really impressed.
So one like concern I had was like, you know, how freeform is this actually going to be? Will you feel like, okay, this is clearly the set way to do things, or does it feel a bit more freeform, a bit more whatever I want?
Hard to tell. There's certainly the earlier levels, as I say, because you just be given the photograph to solve the puzzle. Obviously that feels very prescriptive, but that's just part of showing you the mechanics, right? There are bits where what I did felt like a bit of a bodge, which may or may not have been. I don't know. Like there was one thing where I was like, man, like how do I get over this fence? And then realised I could move to one side, use a photograph of the sky to just fucking blast the wall through effectively. And again, you're like, I don't know if that was intended. I feel like maybe there was probably supposed to be a clever way of doing that.
But I think the joy of this game and like Zelda and things like that is like the ones that make you feel like you're hacking the game or you're breaking the game. And if for games to make you feel like that, you're like, okay, well, there's so many possibilities, but this is my way I did it, and that's what's going to cultivate conversation and stuff around the game as well, isn't it? So if it does that, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely free enough to make you think like, oh, I think I kind of fudged that, but whatever. Like,
that sounds good.
So yeah, that is
When's
it
this game
for
out?
me. When is this coming out? Has it got a date? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I didn't see one on the trailer, I don't think.
No, me neither. But yeah, I mean, there's so Steam Next Fest is on now, so there's.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
So I'll probably have a bunch more like this next week.
It's out 18th of July on Steam.
Oh shit!
Viewfinder.
Okay.
I'm going to assume same on consoles, but yeah.
Am I looking at the different thing? Because no, I must be looking at something different because it says initial release date April 24th. Was that like an early access one or something?
I don't think so, because I think the obviously the demo's only just come out, and I think there were only press previews like the other week.
This game comes out in 4 weeks, 18th of July.
James has found a loophole. The game was actually out months ago, and we never knew.
Yeah.
And a
We never
secret listing
fucking knew.
somewhere.
Well done, James. Keep up the good news.
No, seriously, I'm looking at the website and it says on here 2023. Like, I don't know, whatever.
What website though, James? That's the question.
Their website, thunderfulgames.com.
And they're saying that the Viewfinder came out months ago.
Let me send you a fucking screenshot, because this is the usual thing where you're just like, oh, James has got it wrong. Oh, and it's like, I'll send you this screenshot.
Thematically, this ties in quite nicely with the game.
For a different game or something.
You got FIFA here, James.
And that's what you've been playing this week?
It is.
Matt Murray, you're the headline act.
Well, no, short and sweet. But I definitely played more of the Final Fantasy 16 demo. I still haven't finished it because it's I barely had time to play it. But what I'm really enjoying, I really want to be able to get this when it comes out this week. But I'm really concerned the fact that I've got like Zelda unfinished. got Jedi Survivor unfinished. Am I then going to buy a Final Fantasy game? You know, but I feel like this is the perfect time for me to get into this because there's no backstory with other characters. It's a brand new, fresh game, fresh story, fresh characters. I'm really enjoying the demo so far. It feels very much like I mean, I only played a little tiny bit of the MMO one Christmas when I was feeling quite bored. But it does feel like a combination of Final Fantasy VII Remake and a lot of that stuff. I can see a lot of that kind of the Final Fantasy 14 MMO-ness in this as well. I'm really intrigued by the story. It definitely feels like, you know, it's a family where there's I mean, I can always see some political drama involved in this family as well. And the combat's nice because it's got that much more kind of real-time combat that you have in that remake. So I'm really excited for it, and the fact that it's like a brand new story, brand new characters means I can get in straight away and not be worried about all the years that have gone before it, all the DLCs, all the previous versions. I'm like, I can just play it. There's no stress about, you know, how do I not know that character, or other people probably get more out of this because they've seen or done more. This is perfect opportunity for someone to
but Matt,
get involved in a new Final Fantasy game.
But none of the Final Fantasy games, well, very few of them do this. They all are like new games.
Well, I guess if I play like remake, I'm like, well, clearly as the old one, there's like the full games out there. I'm sure there's been a couple where there's been like, you know, is it number 13 and 13-2?
Yeah, they started. They did it with
And
10.
14's
So
the MMO.
there was 10 and 10-2, but that was the first one that did that. But prior to that, they were always completely new,
Completely unique, right?
Yeah, completely
Okay.
unique
Well,
stories.
I guess me only really having played Final Fantasy VII and the remake. There's just so much kind of, you know, stuff and years of fans loving it that I feel like, you know, it's just a big old game to get into. But this, it's new. It looks great as well. So I really want to play it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this when it comes out. But I'm just like, am I gonna get another game that I haven't finished? I'm just playing it. Like I played Zelda when I went down to London to see Dave. Like on the way there, on the way back, I was like, okay, this is amazing. It's great to be back in that world. I want to play this now. I've got Jedi Survivor in the back as well. I mean, it's really tough.
It is
guys.
hard.
It's
It is
really
hard.
tough.
I think that's why I had to really push through with Zelda, because I couldn't scratch that itch until it was done. Now it's done. Hopefully, I can get Jedi out of the way, and then I can start playing some other stuff. Like
It's weird,
I've been
isn't
saying,
it?
I want to play that Lego game.
Yeah, 2K Drive.
Like I was saying to Nu, like it's a really strange experience. Like with something like Zelda that I have enjoyed every second of, and did not want to play much else while Zelda was on my plate. Like I fucking loved it.
Right.
But also I'm just like, holy shit, I can play other games now.
Yeah,
Wow,
I got
Chris,
to the point. I
amazing.
got to the point where I was like, this has to be done now.
Yeah.
Like I am totally 100% done with it.
Yeah.
And thankfully that just got me to the end, because as I said last week, I was so close to just going, fuck this.
See, this is why I've stopped playing it, because I stopped playing it anyway to play other stuff, because like, I'm going to be going back to China in the summer, and that's when I'm going to play it, because
Of course, yeah.
I ain't going to be able to play any of this other stuff, you know, during that time. So saving it for then.
Can
Alright,
we
so yeah.
briefly talk about this screenshot that James has submitted as evidence?
Yeah,
Yes, go on.
That he claims is from the Thunderful website, but is very
It's not,
clearly
it's
just a
absolutely
Google
not from
knowledge
the
panel.
Thunderful.
It's a Google
Yeah.
Knowledge panel, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unclaimed as well, so
Yeah.
it could just be AI generated or whatever, just
Yeah.
picking up pieces from.
What is
So do
wrong
you want
with
to
you,
apologise
James?
there, James?
Plus, like on the same
Fuck
screen,
off, Matt.
searching for the game, you can see the summary of the Steam page. It clearly says July 18th.
And then when you go on their website, it says upcoming
yeah, it's just
releases.
2023.
What the
James?
fucking hell's happened?
Never
James?
mind.
Fuck off. Fuck off, the lot of you. Just trying to help out, and it's always like, oh,
How is this helping?
How is that helping?
How is it
Well,
this
actually-
is the
actually,
opposite of
guys-
helping?
Actually,
Look,
guys, the game's
I
already
can't
out.
help it if Google is wrong, can I? It's like, it's
What?
You blame them.
I googled it and I
Or-
clicked on the Viewfinder
Or
website.
trust us, maybe.
It wasn't
Yeah,
a case of trusting you. It was a case of when's it out. I looked it up, and it's on here. It says April
already out,
24th.
like, a couple of months ago.
The knowledge
Yeah.
panel, which
I
are
didn't know
always
if it was.
fucking wrong.
Look, fuck off. I didn't know if this was like another one of those early access things where it's just like, oh, it came out on Steam in like 2012 or something, and now it's like it's getting a final release. How the
Keep your
fuck can I
pants
know?
on, James. We're talking about video
Well,
games.
I mean, how the fuck do you know? Maybe listen to us, James.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
once.
Maybe trust us, James. Try that, eh? What about that?
You were the ones asking when it was out, you fucking
We
prick.
fucking googled it and found the answer, mate.
Yeah, but we were asking when it was out because we knew the answer wasn't. It has already been out for
It
several
could have
months.
been on. It could have been
It's
some.
out.
It could have been some shitty early access thing.
knew
That
it
happens all the
wasn't.
time.
But they wouldn't have revealed it at
We knew it wasn't
last
early
week.
access.
They might
Right.
have done. They might have done.
James, also, before we move on, I got to ask you, it's Father's Day yesterday.
Yeah.
Please tell me after last year you sent your dad a card this
Of
year.
course, I did. And
Well, no,
but
not
then,
of course.
okay, well,
That's
I did.
surprising.
I did.
But
I got nothing. I mean, I did in the end. But so
bam.
it turns out none of my family remembered that it was Father's Day.
Yeah, but
And-
it's no. Hold on, that's different because you're all in Germany, right? So Father's Day.
No,
would be
but that's
on a
the
different-
thing. Well, that's what happened because I said to Jen, I was like, oh, it's Father's Day today, and she was like, oh yeah. Then she was like, yeah, but it's not Father's Day here. It's in May, and I was like, well, yeah, but you didn't do anything in May either. So it's just
Oh, clever. That is great workmanship. Well, so it's not UK Father's Day. Okay, brilliant. Well, it's not German Father's Day either. Ah, lovely old job.
yeah.
Well done.
But anyway, yeah, I did get things obviously, so that was good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm really proud of you, man.
Yeah.
It's my mum's birthday
okay.
tomorrow as well. Sent something for that. It's pretty good.
With the same package.
I don't know if you get a medal for that, James. I don't know.
Yeah, we
All
sent
right.
that too.
Let's get to questions. Sean Bell.
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Carl says, with Redfall and Starfield being 30 FPS, do you think the Series X and PS5 are already showing their age? They were touted as 4K 60 FPS consoles, and now it seems we're truly moving to next-gen game. So, moving to next-gen game-wise, the consoles can't keep up with their promises, and more games can't hit 60 FPS consistently, or are held back to 30 FPS in the quality modes. It seems to me spending the extra on half-decent PC reaps the benefits of modern gaming now, with Game Pass being on PC, and now Sony releasing to PC as well. You get the best of both worlds, and better quality and customization options overall. Cheers and keep up the good work, lads.
Not buying a PC.
wouldn't. It's a
I'm
pain
not
in the
buying a
arse.
PC. No, I
Well, I
don't
mean-
think they're showing their age. I don't think that's how it works. I think
No, because it's 30
Um,
FPS is always a choice, and it is a choice that devs have been making for generations. I take the point that, like, obviously when these consoles came out, it was like, oh, like technically it can do 120 frames a second.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like when
almost
Apple
never
say
will.
that you could their new phone lasts 2 days without charge. Yeah, sure, if you just leave it on the fucking side and don't touch the cunt.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
sorry.
about they're showing their age.
I didn't mean to go straight to the C word.
Jesus, that's a
Calm down,
Yeah,
Dave.
that come out.
You absolute cunt. Yeah. So I mean, it's not about
So,
showing their
name the
age. It's
show.
about over-promising, really. You know,
Yes.
it's not about them being too old because it's like we're 3 years in, right? So it's not about showing their age at all. It's just that they promised loads and that we haven't
Well,
delivered.
that happens
if-
more in creators. Do you remember when fucking Sony were like, yeah, our PS4 Pro, mate, that's all about 4K gaming. Turns out it couldn't do 4K gaming.
It can do
4K.
But also you wouldn't be able to get a PC for 500 quid, surely, that can do 4K ray traced 60 frames a
absolutely not.
second.
Oh, no, don't say that, Matt, because you know someone's going to come back and
No,
say,
I don't-
well,
I don't
actually,
think
Yeah, so
could.
someone, well,
I
actually,
mean,
if you,
yeah,
if
I mean,
you
I
get all
love-
the parts second hand from eBay, if
Yeah.
you get parts
Prove
that have
me
been used for
wrong, I love
crypto
that.
mining for the last 3 years,
But
you're right.
you know, if you want nailed on 4K 60 or whatever, and and ray tracing, you're gonna need to buy like a really expensive fucking graphics card. You're not gonna have the same kind of cost you would get from getting a console.
You
yeah,
know
I
what
mean-
I hate about the PC people?
Let's do it. Let's get
How
in there.
tolerant they are. No, when they go, oh yeah, you can get a really good PC for like £800 now. Do everything you want. Oh yeah. Does that include the operating system and the monitor and stuff? Well, no. Well, how much is the fucking monitor then? Well, like 200-300 quid. Well, I'm not going to do it then, am I?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because when you're a PC person, you're like, well, I've already got a monitor and a keyboard. I don't need one. So yeah,
Right, exactly.
You
And
kid
I know what you're
yourself that
saying.
it's
PC people are saying, well, how much was your TV for your console? But I use that thing for other things.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
watch Bluey on it.
yeah.
Not a Bluey. We watch Bluey, the cartoon. So stop.
Foul-mouthed, David. Yeah, I mean, plus PCs are a fucking pain in the arse. Like
And that's Sean saying it finally.
That's me. Well, because I'm in that phase now where I've tinkered with mine, I've upgraded it and stuff. So now, like, you know, replace the CPU, put another SSD in, etc., etc. I mean, putting an SSD in is not hard, but it's just annoying. And like, I'm now at the point where if I had to do all that again, I could do it in 20 minutes, but I won't have to do that again for another 4 years.
Right.
And I will have forgotten everything again by then, and I will have another shit experience.
Yeah.
So I think once this PC finally dies, I'm just going to be like fucking laptops or pre-builds only. I haven't got the, I don't know, I don't give it enough of a shit anymore to
Is
tinker
laptop
with it.
gaming a real thing though?
Laptop gaming? Yeah. There's
yeah,
Like,
the issue
why
is it-
though? What's the advantage? I don't get it.
What's the
It's portable,
advantage?
Yeah.
It's portable.
Yeah, but where do you go? Where do we go?
That's
Where
true,
do
yeah.
you
I
go?
can play, I can play Counter Strike at
Lovely.
144 frames a second on the train.
I
yeah.
wanna know.
Where did you go? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely showing a rage. I mean, all this talk about, oh, there's going to be a PS5 like Slim or PS5 Pro or whatever. It's like, are they going to finally deliver on the promises that they made when we started the generation? Maybe, but like they promised it for these current consoles,
Yep.
not new ones.
Yeah, and like I say,
I-
it's always a choice. Like any of these games that run at 30 frames, like yeah, they could make them look a lot worse, and they would definitely run at 60. They're just developers are just not going to make that choice in a lot of situations.
Especially Starfield. Like, we want that thing
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah,
It's
like we want
Bethesda,
it
we want it to
just want it
work.
to run.
Yeah,
like, at
we want
all.
it to run.
But again, that was Todd Howard said like yeah, all our games have always run at 30 frames on consoles. That's just how we make them.
Right.
Like it's
And,
not.
and I think getting a game from 30 to 60 is a massive jump, right? Like it's huge
yeah.
to get it to run at 60 frames. Like I still
And it's
look at
like
Spider-Man,
consistent
Miles Morales.
60. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like
That's
yeah,
the-
like a lot.
because
Go on, sorry.
Jedi Survivor totally proves that actually, it can do 60 technically, but the slightest drop is infuriating at 60, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it still blows my mind that you can play Spider-Man at 60 frames with fucking some form of ray tracing on is insane to me. That's why that
I mean, it's
game
not
blows my
4K.
mind.
That's the issue with that stuff.
Oh no, you're absolutely right, but it's 60
But it still
frames.
looks incredible, though, doesn't it? as well?
It's 60 frames with ray. Did I say 4K? I meant with ray tracing.
No, you
Some
said ray
form of-
tracing.
Right,
I guess my
right,
biggest
yeah.
thing is like actually most of the games I'm playing these days I'm not even playing 4K. I've got like a lovely new TV. I'm mostly playing on like the performance mode where it's like
Yeah, that means more to
1440p
me
or
than a
whatever.
4K,
It was
yeah.
interesting. I asked on Twitter last week or week before because I got a 4K monitor for my PC just because I thought, oh well, I need a new monitor. Surely I get a 4K one because that's the big resolution now.
That's the big number.
standard. And very quickly was like, well, this is shite because the internet just looks bad because you just see like no images are meant to be that big on the screen, right? No, and like YouTube's the same. Like everything, you just see the compression in everything. And surprise, I can't run many games in 4K. So I asked on Twitter. I was like, does anyone have a 4K monitor? And how do you feel about it? And everyone's just like, no, don't get a 4K monitor for a PC. There's no fucking point. Get a QHD one, so runs in 1440p. Like your experience of using the internet or whatever else will be the same, and you'll be running games at the monitor's native resolution rather than because obviously, it's fine running stuff at 1440p on this monitor, but you can tell it's not quite the native res of the monitor. That was a mistake. I should have got a worse monitor.
Here's something that really made me laugh. I was thinking the other day. So I bought a nice TV in January, and I've had a 4K TV before, but I didn't have HDR, and I've got I got HDR now, and it's like that auto. It's an LG, so it does the auto thing with Dolby Vision and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I can't. I'd like, was HDR bollocks or what? I'm sitting there. And I'm going,
That's where I am with it. I mean, obviously, I've got a vested interest in people not taking HDR seriously.
Due to your history. But yeah, no, I'm sitting there going, I'm playing Forza Horizon, which looks amazing, obviously, but I'm not looking at it going, well, look how much better the colours are. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just getting old.
I think
HDR
HDR is
probably
better
if you
than-
could if you could switch it on and off, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, to be fair, that is better. But you stop seeing it in 10 minutes, don't you? Once you.
Oh, maybe I should try switch. Can you switch it off and on easily then? Maybe I'll try that.
You can on the
Depends on
TV, yeah. You should be able to do that.
What were you going to say, Matt? You think HDR is better than what?
Then resolution. I think like you can see a difference in like HDR lighting and not versus 4K or 4. I just feel like that's a bigger impact for me, gaming wise.
Right.
Than resolution.
But you're right. All these things are relative. Like for example, that fucking OLED Switch. I look at it and I go, when I look at the kids Switch and then I switch to the OLED, I go, that's way better. But then 2 seconds after booting up, I'm like, it's the same. I don't know.
See, I don't know because I mean, this is probably just because I bought, because I bought one as well. But every time I look at that thing, I'm just like, this looks brilliant. Like, the screen looks so good.
Oh, yeah, I love the OLED
near
Switch.
that. No, nowhere near that. Okay.
Because I just look at the original Switch. It's got those massive borders as well around it, and it's just
bezel town over there.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Okay. Should we move on?
Sean Richardson says, hello, Machete Poems Wrought. I assume that's an anagram. This week marks my 200-week anniversary of buying my first TCGS merch. With this milestone in mind, what's your favourite piece of merch?
Oh, good question.
my TCGS hoodie. It's very good. It's very comfortable, very warm. It's
which you can buy.
I mean, you've gone for your own
TCGS.
Yeah.
Okay, your favourite piece of
trying
merch
to
is your
promote the
own.
stuff. Come on.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You never try to promote anything.
I'm trying.
For those watching the stream, my Hyperlight Drifter hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Big fan of that.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. I like that a lot.
What else?
I'll tell
my
you what.
favourite is genuinely my Kid Kabichi t-shirt because I just like how it looks, and I bought the jumper version of it. How bad is that? It's exactly the same, but it's got longer arms.
I had a T-shirt I really liked, which was I had the Los Polos Hermanos one, like from Breaking Bad, and then I got too fat to wear it, and
Nice.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah,
I've still kept it with the vague hope that one day I'll be thin again.
Yeah,
I've got a
you've
few
just
shirts like
reminded me of my answer. I've got a fucking beautiful Shadow of the Colossus t-shirt, which is a Japanese small. Which, I mean, if anyone listening to this, if you've seen me in real life, see me in real life, it's been a long time since I've been able to fit. I mean, it was tight on me when I first got it, but I was that skinny that it was like, yeah, fucking just wear skin tight t-shirts. It doesn't fucking matter. No, it would be absolutely horrendous if I tried that on now.
I think you should both wear those t-shirts to TCGS Con.
Do you reckon?
100%.
Yeah,
It's
for
proper.
sure.
Like, it's got like a full print of like the weak spot icon, and then it's got like all these like birds like printed over. It's fucking really nice.
I've seen that. Yeah, that is a nice one. Do you remember Threadless? Do you remember when
Yes, I used to love Threadless,
yeah, discovering that and being like, oh my god, it's like really
God,
cool
look
because
how
everyone like
unique
submits
they
their own
are.
designs.
Yeah, I used to love that. I used to like get people to sign up on your link, and you got like points to get free Threadless t-shirts. Oh baby.
See, you've just taken things to the next level, Matt, because that was not my experience.
That was a key part of it.
That was a topper, mate.
It wasn't a key part of it. A key part of it was just buying a couple of t-shirts, mate. And then wearing them
I
about.
was obviously predictably well into Threadless. And my Panda one, all sorts. Ooh, baby.
What's your favourite bit of merch, Matt?
I mean, I've got an Outer Wilds metal T-shirt, which is very cool, and I love it. And they're hard to get hold of because you had to be like there the second they went online. So yeah, I love that
Cool,
T-shirt.
but what about the Sega Saturn hat we bought you? Bit rude.
That's a
Hang
point.
on.
That's a fucking point. Oh, he's rummaging through the bin to find it. There
Got
he
it
is.
here, got it if you're watching on video.
Quality
Nice.
hat. It don't really fit you, but it is a quality
No,
hat.
it's because it's on top of my headphones.
Oh wait, hold on. Was that that T-shirt you've got, Sean, with the T-Rex being sick, like throwing up a rainbow?
Yeah.
That's a Threadless T-shirt, then, is it?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Threadless. That's
Yeah.
Decent. Is
I
Threadless
got,
still going?
My baseball hat
It
with
must be.
the sad sun on it. I think that's Threadless as well.
They're getting quite a bit of advertising out of us today, aren't they?
Fucking hell, Threadless
that's
is still going.
Threadless.com.
How much are the T-shirts now, though? Because they were $10.
$15.
That was what was so good.
There's currently a sale on there.
Wow. Okay.
Man,
There's a
Right.
sale. That's threadless.com. They're currently having a sale.
Slash TCGS.
Okay, let's
Oh my
move on.
god, this is weird.
It is. Should we do the next question?
Yes.
Players.
Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Codemasters, it was a weekend of non-stop laughs as a friend and I played Codemasters Professional Ski Simulator. We kept failing courses due to the avatars left being our right, but they'd not get in the way of our fun or lessen our love for the publisher. If you could resurrect one of Codemasters' 80s or 90s titles, which one would you choose? Keep up the astonishingly great work. Sincerely, Maria. Dizzy, right? Get
Dizzy.
that fucking egg back
I mean,
on my television screen.
I enjoyed playing that when I was a kid, but then I did remember going back to it not so long ago and it being not very good.
Aged terribly. I mean, because the thing with Dizzy games was, I know some were like pure platformers,
A lot of them are puzzles.
but then
games,
yeah,
though.
Yeah, a lot
they
of
were
them were
essentially
puzzles,
like
weren't they?
they were like really shit point and click puzzle games, weren't they?
I'll tell you what, I'd like another Micro Machines, but like a
I was
good
going
one.
to say that, but
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they're
that was
still
them,
bringing
wasn't
them out, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they're not very good because I played one a couple of years ago, and it was one of the only games that I've ever had a refund for on Xbox because I was like,
Really?
this is awful. Yeah, it was really terrible.
Yeah, I used to love Codemasters. I mean, I used to love Micro Machines so bloody much. Oh man,
I'm looking
so
at the
good.
games here, but Brian Lara Cricket not on your list. James Pond. Oh god.
No, no.
Fuck James Pond.
You?
What?
No, fuck you. Actually, what about that?
James Pond was never good.
No, it wasn't.
Let's go back to the 80s. What have we got in the 80s?
Well, I was going to say,
BMX
so I think
Simulator?
this was 91 was CJ's Elephant Antics. Yeah, we all remember that.
Nope.
The invincibility cheat was you had to type in hairy arseholes. Yes,
That's out of order.
Did they do Dynamite Ducks? They didn't, did they? Who's Dynamite Ducks? Do you remember them?
vaguely.
If you Google it, you remember. I remember there was a cheat code for that.
Can't be bothered.
They've
say
got.
what
I've
happened.
just googled this, and they've got a game called Big Nose the Caveman, so that's my choice.
Matt, I was going to go for that or Italia 1990.
Oh, let's go. Let's,
Oh,
yeah.
Quick Snacks. That was a Dizzy spin-off.
Oh my god, Ducks was
fucking-
spelled D-U-X.
Who was the fucking?
Cool.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't Codemasters. There was one. He was called like. Was he like Oscar? Oscar goes to the movies or something. I feel like I'm having a meltdown.
Oscar goes to the movie.
Was
He's
it a
not,
Euro
he's not
plat-
on
was
this
it-
Wikipedia page.
Is it a
so-
Euro platformer? Sure. It sounds like one.
It might have been.
Dynamite Ducks was Sega. Oh my god. And it had a cheat on it where some very rude stuff happened on the main menu if you
Oh.
type something in.
Good God. The good thing about Micro Machines was that I think for me that gave way and created Mashed Fully Loaded, which is one of my all-time favorite games. Not sure if you played Mashed Fully Loaded. It's a Micro Machine style kind of top-down view, but there was one level which was like an ice level that had no it basically is a massive kind of oval shape, and I hammered that for so long. We played it, didn't we, Dave, at my house? I'm sure we played
Yeah,
Mashed
we
Fully
played
Loaded.
Mashed. 100%.
on
Yeah. Why do you
360.
have to say fully loaded though? That's
Because that was the version that we loved on Xbox.
mashed.
Fully
loaded.
It's Mashed Fully Loaded. Anyway, man, like that, we just played the ice level over and over and over again. Absolutely unbelievable. If that came to consoles, that's all I'll play.
It was Seymour.
Okay.
Seymour Goes to Hollywood. And he was a
Was he?
weird, like he wasn't an egg. He was exactly like Dizzy, except he wasn't an egg. He was a white blob, but otherwise was the same as Dizzy. They also, the same developers, made Steg the Slug, which is another
Steak
Codemasters
the
one.
slug. Yeah, I remember
Because
Steak
I always
the
remember,
slug.
I remember reading about it and being like, oh my god, because he's a slug, he can go on the spikes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
My
amazing.
bad.
Like, maybe just don't put spikes in the game then. If they don't do anything to the character, why are the spikes even there? I don't...
I love the artwork to Steak the Slug. That was the game that I remember. That's it. If you look at it now, this is unbelievable. If you look at the artwork,
Yeah.
a plus point, a selling point of a game back then was that it's new. It's new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
New release.
New release.
So it says new release on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cover. It's like, no, it's new. And I remember buying it, just thinking, oh no, it's new though.
Yeah, good point, isn't it?
That was a good game though. That was legitimately good. I remember like saving the little other little slugs and all that.
Before any Stag the
Not for
Slug
me.
fans write in, I am now realising that because you had to guide the bubbles around, didn't you, with your
That's
babbers
right.
in them. That's what the spikes were for.
Oh, Sean,
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
going to
yeah.
get so much feedback next week.
Man, I was gonna
With all
embarrass
the
myself
steggies.
online.
The steggies would have been livid
Yep.
with you.
Next question.
Think you're fine.
Sorry, I forgot. This is supposed to be my section, isn't it? Quite.
Did you forget people were listening?
Are we? What? Yeah. Is this
Just
not
chatting.
a dream? It's just-
Chatting between mates, aren't we? About steggy.
Trolley Bay says greetings and salutations, Kane and Rinse Extra. Fuck you.
Fuck off, Trolley Bay.
my girlfriend and I are expecting our first baby.
Oh,
We're
congrats.
overjoyed, over the moon, overstimulated, and overscared. We're halfway through our antenatal classes, and I've noticed that they have not mentioned once when can the partner play games again. This glaring mishap from the Irish
Instant.
maternity industrial complex aside, can you give me a gloves off, no holes barred? No holes barred. I think it's supposed to be holds. Barred. Run
No
down.
holds
of the-
up. No, okay.
That's what Trolley Bay needs right now. You being snarky about it.
yeah.
That's what they
Grammar
need. Yeah.
corrections.
Brilliant.
Run
You
down. of the
literally
first-
emailed in and said how stressed out they are, and you're going, "Oh, actually, you got that phrase wrong."
Sort out your typing, mate.
It's in the situation because of no holds barred. Let's go.
Can we have a no holes barred, not barring any holes from you, sir, rundown of the first few months? I'm mostly joking about the gaming stuff. I know those days are behind me for a while. What
They're
kind of
not.
schedule did you guys use? How can I be of most help to my girlfriend and Spawn? How do I father? Question mark.
Brilliant.
Oh, boy.
Right, let's get into it. Firstly, don't worry, you'll play more video games in the first 3 months than you've played for the
Well,
last
hang
5
on.
years.
That was
probably.
not my experience.
First 4 weeks.
Was it not?
for me.
No, not at all. Because I
wasn't.
was screaming the house down most of the time.
Yeah, but I
Ditto
was
with
just,
Rachel. She was like
just
that as well.
holding the screaming baby while playing video games. It's fine. That's pretty much all I did.
Yeah, everyone's different. The first 4 weeks for us were like, hang on, this is great. Like, you know, she was sleeping 4 hours, wake up,
Mine
shit,
wasn't
food,
sleeping.
sleep 4 hours. And it's like, wow, we watched Breaking Bad. I played like Killzone Shadowfall. It's great. I'm like, this is well easy. What was ever
The
going to
room.
Then obviously life fell apart. But yeah, first 4 weeks. I mean, obviously that varies. Your mileage may vary.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, for me, it wasn't so much that life was great and I could just sit and play games all day. It was the fact that, well, I'm going to be up till about 4 in the morning most days anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well just sit and play video games until the early hours of every night. And yeah, you get no sleep or whatever.
But you weren't
terms
going
of-
to anyway, so yeah.
In terms
Exactly.
of advice, the only thing I'd say is try not to worry about not being a couple for a good while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a different type of couple. So like with us, it was like, right, okay, we're not going to see each other as much because I don't want you sitting here when you could be sleeping.
Yep.
And then it's sleep. Trying to get sleep at a premium is like such a big thing. So there were so many times where I was like, okay, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got nothing to do. You go and sleep for as long as you possibly can, and then later on I might go to sleep. And you do get moments where you're like, well, you've had 4 hours sleep and I've had 2, and that starts a massive row. But also, that's the other thing. Recognize the fact that you're both sleep deprived, right? Because
Yeah.
you will argue. You will argue, and you'll get angry. But if you recognize that you're both sleep deprived, then the arguments seem less intense
And it's
less
not as
serious.
simple as it sounds, because before you have a kid, you might hear that and think, well, I know when I'm tired, idiot. But you reach a point where you stop feeling tired, but your cognitive and emotional abilities are massively
Oh my god,
compromised.
the amount of arguments me and Jill had when like she was tired, I was tired, but she'll be like, yeah. So then but she wouldn't finish a sentence. I'm like, are you gonna fucking finish a sentence? This is I can't answer your questions if it's like, well, if you would.
Yeah.
And oh my god, yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
there's such a difference as well when people turn around and go, "Yeah, but I've been tired before. I've stayed up till 4 in the morning and got like 2 hours sleep before." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's cool. You have been tired, but imagine doing that every night for a fucking year.
Yeah.
Like at least when you've like had a night or 2 nights like that, you can go, "Oh, I can lay in tomorrow though."
We're gonna have an early night on the third night. Yeah.
It's also like, I mean, for us, it was like the unexpectedness of sleep patterns and all that kind of thing, and like you start to think you're getting into a routine, then it's like, oh no, you're not. No, let's change this up again.
Yeah,
now.
that's it, isn't it? It's the
And stuff like
constant.
that.
Every time you think you've mastered it,
Yeah, that it
the-
then
it
changes.
just- everything goes out the window
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, all babies are different, but
Yeah.
I know I've talked about this before. Isaac had really bad colic, and was also a total arsehole about breastfeeding. I think we've probably got into this before. Obviously, yeah, like NHS, like feeding teams and maternity wards and everything are all like breastfeeding's the best. You should totally breastfeed. Don't use formula; it's bad. Which is great if your child will breastfeed.
Same here. Yeah.
And Isaac was just having absolutely none of it. And I will not hear any criticism of the NHS, but the way they fucking speak to you if you tell them you're using formula is appalling. Or it was in our case anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like,
great for us.
like-
we tried for like 9 days, and we're like Elodie clearly is not getting enough like milk.
Yeah.
Like if we keep trying, obviously we want to try this, and they were basically like, well, you should fucking do it if you really want to. Look. I was like, look, like we've tried 8 or 9 days, went to formula, and it was like, okay, a million times better. I can feed her, and we knew Elodie was getting the nutrients she wanted, and she was actually feeding. Obviously
Yeah, like so just
didn't even bother.
obviously try and you didn't even try and breastfeed, no.
Nah.
No, again, but
Joe was like, "No, I'm
sorry
not
for
doing
whacking
it."
the microphone.
And I was like,
Zero
"Okay."
judgment. I just like
I think you judge me as much as you want, mate. I don't. I've got.
no, I just don't
Joe
want you
was
thinking out because, like I say, I having studied it and seen all the evidence. Yeah, I totally understand why the NHS stance is breast is best,
Right.
but just they sort of put it upon you to the point that you are like shamed for using formula.
not
which I
on a
think is
guilt trip.
appalling.
Yeah, that sucks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That shit sucks.
We had a different experience because we had doctors trying to sell us formula. Because
there you go.
because they were taking a cut of the money. So that was the.
That is- So basically, whatever works, man. As long as the kid's fed, like don't worry about it.
Can I give some creepy advice? Some creepy advice? Appreciate that smell of a baby, because oh my god, like honestly, it is weird,
Yeah, I
isn't
know what
it?
you mean.
Because like I go, like we absolutely know we don't want any more kids, right? And obviously, we put
You're at capacity. Like,
yes, yes, we've put measures in place to make sure that's not going to happen anymore. And then we were out with some friends the other day, and they had a newborn baby, and I held the newborn baby, and I smelt the head, and was like, "Oh my god, I want 20 children." After everything you go through, you do look back on it, and you do have a lot of bad times, but there is part of you also that's just kind of like, "Oh my god, though." Like the baby and that.
I told you, I still at the moment I keep having this thing of thinking, I wouldn't mind having another baby. Sometimes.
James got an Al Pacino.
No, it's because like Rachel's like 13, Asher's 10, and it's just like they're coming out now of being kids and becoming like teenagers.
So what you're saying is
like,
you don't like your children anymore.
No, it's like I want
the dice.
No, they don't like him.
No, because it's that thing of what I would like them to remain children. It should be nice.
I can see.
It's wild, Trolley Bay, and every journey's different. Please don't listen to the idea that you're supposed to be loving every minute of it and appreciate these days and blah 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 blah. Of course, that you are going to miss the days when they're babies or when they're toddlers or when they're
I don't miss
young
that time.
kids. But no, there is some
there's bits of it
level,
I
right?
definitely miss.
There is some level of it that you miss, and you look back on and fondly, and even if it's like, oh my god, we got through that, or it's mad. But just be honest about things, I think, is the best advice I can give, because if you are really feeling it and you need help, then you need to talk to someone and get some help.
100%.
And if you're, especially your partner, just be completely honest and open about how you're feeling and what you're going through, and you'll find actually two things. Either most people feel like that, and you'll feel that it's actually quite normal to feel down and frustrated and tired and angry at times, or you find that actually what you're going through is probably uniquely worse, and you need help and support, and that's important too.
Yeah.
So
Definitely talk to your mates, or if you know any other dads or or relatives that can help out 100%. I mean, yeah, like it's just such an overwhelming time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the things that kind of messed us up the most is like, they expect you, okay, the baby comes out and you like fall in love instantly, but like we were so kind of, just concerned with, okay, make sure the baby's safe, making sure Jill's safe, that kind of, minute one we hadn't really considered like that much. It was like, okay, let's get there, make sure everyone's safe, we've got our baby finally, amazing. But then, they're like, oh yeah, you see him, and like we kind of didn't, because we're the first few weeks, well, the first probably 4 weeks wasn't so bad, but it's all over the place, like the first few months, and you're like, man, like you just feel guilty for not loving them enough, and your entire life is just out of whack and changed forever. But but it is the best thing ever, even if those first few weeks or months or however long it takes is going to be all over the place. It is the best thing ever. But my God, you go through some shit to get there. But
Plus,
as David
like,
said, as long as you're open with your partner, and there'll be arguments, there'll be all sorts of cross words and stuff, but you're there together to try and raise this baby to be an amazing human. So it's tough, but you'll get there, basically.
I mean, Trolley Bay, I assume this is the plan, but like being in the room for the birth is just fucking unbelievable.
it's
like,
wild, right?
Yeah.
It is wild.
Which obviously it's
Especially
not
if
about us. Obviously it's not about us. But to just it's like, obviously, your partner, wife, whatever is there and just doing this thing that you can't even fucking conceive of. It's like if she turned around and gone, oh, by the way, I can shoot rockets out of my fucking arms, I'd be like, yeah, all right.
Totally. 100%. I had the same thing.
I totally agree, because see, I had both experiences, because Rachel wasn't allowed to be in there because of the way it was, but
that's right,
for Asher I was, and so you get like, and I would definitely recommend being in there, because it is a
and
whole
also
whole
totally
experience.
when the midwife goes out the room, get on that gas and air.
Yeah,
I didn't try that. That's our biggest
and
regret.
also, if they've got the bouncy ball
Great, man.
thing, you can sit on that while you're doing the gas and air, and that's really nice.
Yeah,
Bouncy
it's
ball
wild,
thing?
but I can't believe you didn't do that. That's like the most Matt thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I was making sure my wife was fine, actually, David.
I was doing gas and air and just floating around the room. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things I didn't regret. I had every single sandwich. I tried every single flavour of sandwich in the shop. I absolutely nailed that.
Do you call it flavours of sandwich?
Well, because we were there for like 2 or 3 days. Every single possible
Right.
sandwich flavour in that, like in the shop and the hospital, I ate them. When the doctor's like, okay, baby's about to get here, I was like, can I change my t-shirt? Because I'd always had like shit down it, probably for one of the meal deals. And I was like, okay, I'll never go. I'll go for a quick wee, change my t-shirt, come back, let's go, let's have a baby. Lovely time.
One last bit of advice, Trolley Bay. So if you have to stay overnight, you will not have a bed. Obviously, you will have to sleep in the chair next to the bed.
I wasn't allowed.
Do not
Big green chair.
complain about having to sleep in the chair. Do not mention that you are uncomfortable, because you will get fucking murdered.
No, we had to share a room. Like, this is when Rachel was born. We shared a room, obviously, with like a load of other people as well. And there was this one guy who, for some reason, decided to wear pajamas in the room as well.
Wow.
But they were really
How is that not you?
tight-fitting, like tight-fitting, like pajamas, like sort of skin-tight ones. I mean, I called him Peter Pan the whole time because it looked like that. And at one point, the doctor came in and he looked at him and then he just said, "Sir, can you please put some clothes on?" Because it's just it looks awful.
You can see you trying.
Okay.
Oh, last thing as well, like, obviously everyone's going to want to see you and the kid and your partner. It is sort of your job to maybe tell people to fuck off sometimes. Whether too many people want to come round or people are overstaying their welcome, like, basically, unless they're bringing food. If they're bringing food, then they're fine.
Or money.
Or money. But yeah, like, it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially for the mum. So yeah, you might just be like, if you've got some members of the family who are a bit like, oh, it's my grandchild, just be aware you might have to be a bit of a bouncer in your own house.
Yeah. Apart from us, like, we're allowed round. But
we'll be round
because it is our child in a way as well. So
it is,
we're allowed round.
TCGS baby. It's,
For sure.
yeah.
What name it James Farley. And also we oh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's such a shame that one of us isn't having our first kid like soon. Because dad calls.
Dad
the
calls
way
will be
forward, right?
so fucking good. Yeah.
Think of the content.
Parenthood calls.
Father calls.
It's like, in a way, you're having this baby with me because I'm going to be calling you at any time of the night. You know,
Oh
just
my
have a
god,
chat.
it'd be so good.
So
I
James,
guess my
James
la-
is going to saunter into the bedroom tonight. So Chen, we've had an idea for the show.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
really
some
worried
great
about our
content.
baby. Should we call an ambulance? No, let me call the TCGS boys first. Get their opinion.
Yeah, I guess biggest tip is download The Room on iOS.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's a great game.
yeah.
Last question, it's a quick one. MD Krabuff says, if there was a legal requirement to have a happy hour every day, what would you do to make you happy?
What would I do to make my just have a big
Wow.
old sandwich?
Yep, that was my first thing. Yep,
Matt loves a sandwich, as we
big
just
old
found out.
sandwich.
A
Yeah.
little bit of Sean time.
A little bit of Sean time.
God, that's a reference.
For
isn't
an
it?
hour,
Fucking
though.
hell.
An hour?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no,
I'm
that's
not- I'm
like
not- not-
that's like
not-
3 minutes.
23 anymore.
A happy hour every day. For me, I don't know, probably just. Oh, if I played five-a-side football again, I'd love that for an
Oh, yeah.
hour. Bit of
Yeah,
five-a-side football. I always feel brilliant afterwards, and love playing it. Although the state I'm in at the moment, probably darts instead.
Yeah, but if it was an hour every day, you'd be in
That's
great
true.
shape.
That's
No
true. An hour of football every day, I'd love that.
If
I genuinely
everyone
love
had
that.
the same hour, this is a really naff answer, but if it was like
The
middle
world
of the day,
goes to shit.
everyone no, I was just gonna say, like, so it's like middle of the day, everyone stops working, right? We all play fucking Rocket League for an hour or something. Do you know what I mean? Just like that's
Yep.
an established like thing in society. Yeah, everyone clocks off and plays online games with their mates
That'd be good,
for
wouldn't it?
an hour. Break the day
That'd
up.
be good.
Yeah.
If it was totally acceptable to do that.
Be
It's
right.
funny though, because the football thing, it's like I was telling the people that I played this like charity match recently, and I was telling all the people there, like I met them for the first time there, but in like the WhatsApp groups and stuff, I was saying, look, you've got to understand, I'm shit at football. Like I don't go into that thing thinking I'm any good at football. I just fucking love playing. It's like I was saying to some of the weekend, you could be in someone's fucking garden and they've got a tiny little goal and there's a 3-year-old in goal. If you smash that ball into the back of the net, it still feels amazing. It doesn't matter.
Your kicking ball will never not feel good.
I know,
Basically.
it's always good, isn't it? It is always good. I watched them. I was going through some old videos and I saw us all at the EGX where they had the Coca-Cola football stand.
Yes.
Do you remember what happened there? Because James Farley scored. Everyone else missed, but James Farley scored.
Yeah, he killed it,
You
yeah.
got really close to scoring, Sean.
Did I? Can't remember.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
times.
actually, funny you should say that because I was looking for photos the other day and I saw a picture of Sean holding up a Norwich FC. Like,
Yeah, that was where we got
a
into.
Norwich,
Oh, yeah.
Norwich City like giant flag at
Why
that
was,
place
was
as
that?
well.
Was that something to do with the FIFA streams I was doing? I can't.
No,
remember.
It was at that event, and it was like you could hold up like a trophy, but then
Yeah.
you also had to have like a scarf with like
Yeah,
a
they were
team.
like-
Yeah,
Oh,
So we were
that's
like, oh,
right.
he's
And
got a
by the
Norwich.
way,
yeah.
That's
like,
right.
none of you will understand why this was terrifying to me. But like the fact that I had to just go up to someone, they'd be like, "Oh, what team?" And I was like, "Yeah, Norwich."
Norwich.
And you know, it's like one word answer, but I know I'm full of shit. Right?
Well, you couldn't say
Yeah, what
Tranmere,
wanted
could
them
you?
to go,
That was
well,
the
right,
problem.
okay, who's their top scorer then?
Yeah, exactly. No idea.
What's the name of the stadium?
Where even
Let's
is
be
it?
having you.
Is it in Norwich? Yeah.
Carol
Alright.
Wood.
Remember when
yeah.
EJX?
Are we done?
They were sending me. I sent that thing to the group the other day.
Oh yeah.
That's like, yeah, buy your tickets for EGX. We've got the Sea of Thieves developers are going to do a talk, and what else? I can't remember now. But yeah, it was just sadly not enticing.
No.
All right, well, that's really ground the show to a
That's really
halt
ruined.
there.
We would have a chat about it, but it's
really-
fine.
It
That's what
really
I'm doing.
killed
I'm
the
trying
show
to
off
extend
there,
it.
isn't it, this week? And I cannot believe we have nearly got to 2 hours and a half again. Matt, let's get on with the socials.
I wanted
shall
a
we?
short one this week as well. Sean, I'm going to say no.
Where are you up to in the game now, James? Where are you up
That
to?
was a
in
genuine
detail?
question.
Sure, it was. God.
Didn't give a shit.
No stream.
No stream on Thursday, but James, Hitman on Friday? Question mark.
Well, I'm thinking of Hitman, or maybe I should go back and do that Street Fighter challenge again and see if I've improved.
No.
I
No,
think that's
we
a good
need you
good shout.
healthy next week.
That's true. Save your drinking for
All right,
TCGS
okay.
Con.
I'll play Hitman this Friday.
No, if anything, do it because it's good training for TCGS Con. He just want to go. He wants to go match fit.
Can we do that live? You drink every time you play the audience at Street Fighter, and you have to do a. You have to do
Oh
a
my god! I mean, they
during
might have.
the
They
quiz.
probably will have an old Street Fighter there. So yes,
During the quiz, James has to take a shot every time he gets an answer
question
incorrect.
wrong.
But no one else does. Just
Yeah, but also because James can't cheat as well live, so he's gonna be pretty fucked.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so Friday, James, what are you gonna do? You drink or you playing Hitman?
Oh, I'll play Hitman. Because
But every time you kill someone, you have to drink. Every time you hit,
James
you have
kills
to
a lot of people.
the body count is quite high.
show off. Okay, well, yeah. So Friday, 9 p.m. on Twitch, Hitman or Shotman or whatever we're calling it. They're on twitch.tv/TCGS. Code search TCGS in the app. If you miss them live, go to YouTube and you can watch the VODs. If you have Amazon Prime, connect to your Twitch account, you get a free sub, give it to us. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. There'll be a bonus show out in the next couple of weeks, as well as the video show, and the website is tcgs.co. If you want to get tickets for TCGS Con, we're basically less than 2 weeks away now. If you want to come see us, doing the cuisining, play games, have a cuddle, mini golf, laser quest, of course, go over to tcgs.co/TCGS Con. Saturday the 1st of July. We'd love to see you there.
Photo op with the boys. What about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Photo op.
Don't worry, I'll take the picture and you can be with them free. I did that a lot last time. It's fine.
We have
Yeah,
confirmed
that's it.
smoke machines for the quiz.
Oh,
There
baby!
we go.
And the
Going
website's
on.
tcgs.co to go over there.
Thanks for living it. We will catch you next week, and I'll leave you with the fact that I thought England winning 7-0 tonight was going to be the biggest thrashing of the evening, but apparently 354 against 7 is the biggest thrashing of the night. Goodbye, everyone. We will catch you next week. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, goodbye. Bye.